It's a Saturday, May 25th, 2024. How's everybody doing out there today? It's the Edmonton Oilers and Dallas Stars set for Game 2. Edmonton took a surprising win in double OT. We'll see if they can do it again tonight. Here's the starting lineups. Connor McDavid, RNH, Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, Evander Kane, Dylan Holloway, Darnell Nurse, Vincent Desharnais, Ryan McLeod, Warren Fogle, Derek Ryan, Sam Carrick, Matthias Yan, Mark Connor Brown, Brett Kulak, Cody Ceci. Stuart Skinner will be the goaltender of record. Head coached by Chris Knobloch. Head coach by Peter DeBoer of the Dallas Stars. Wyatt Johnson, Jason Robertson, Logan Stankoven, Thomas Harley, Miro Heiskanen. It's Matt Duchene, Mason Marshman, Joe Pavelski, S. Lundell, Chris Tanev. Tyler Sagan, Jay Bennett getting to Donoff. Sam Steele, Roddick Fox, or Craig Smith with Ryan Suter and Alexander Petrovich. With Jake Ottinger in goal. Alec, it's good to have you in the broadcast booth once again. We look at Game 1. It was an instant classic in double OT. You end up calling that winner with Connor McDavid. Jake Ottinger had a rough start, but he had a good finish, 35 of 38 in the loss. But Stuart Skinner was exceptional. 31 of 33 in the double overtime victory. It was his best game in the playoffs. Can Edmonton do this again in Game 2?
They could, given that they held the Stars without a power play goal. 0 for 5 are the Stars on the man advantage this past Thursday. Didn't create a lot on their first few power plays before they nearly broke through in the first overtime. The Oilers, with their rock-solid penalty kill, they've killed off 19 straight penalties so far to this point. They've been rock-solid defensively, something that would be strange to say 2 years ago, but now it's coming to fruition. And with McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, and everyone on that top end playing it as advertised, it feels that a repeat could be on the marks. I feel Dallas, they may have something brewing here in Game 2. Perhaps something to tighten up on their top to bottom lineup.
I'm going to look at it the same way that you just said. I agree in the sense of what I think is going to happen with Dallas. I kind of felt that way in terms of the Florida Panthers and New York Rangers as well. Trying to get that one to 1-1. Dallas wants to get this to 1-1 before they go back to Edmonton. How do they change this? Because when you look at it, I saw a little bit in the postgame. It would surprise me. The line of S. Lundell and Chris Tanev was the line that gave up all 3 goals against the Edmonton Oilers. Who scored all 3 goals? Well, it was all the names you would expect in Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl. So the names that you didn't want to get on the board all got on the board. And it seems like, too, Miro Heiskanen's ice time is climbing up as you expect it would, but he's getting close to 30 minutes a game, and that's just too much. So they need to get a little more complimentary scoring here for the Stars, maybe a little bit of a push. And honestly, from what we saw last night in between New York and Florida, you might expect Dallas to do the same thing. And what I mean by that is maybe the first 2 minutes, Dallas might come out and shut out Buchanan.
I would think that the same thing as well. You want to start off with a pace, pressure the Oilers early. That's what I would think would happen. Now that you're saying, I think I've seen Ty Dellandrea on the benches for the Stars. I see a number 10 there, so he's on the lineup. I wonder who is subbed out in the case of Dellandrea's in, but we'll have to monitor that because we did not expect Dellandrea to be on the line. He was a frequent healthy scratch. That's no shade to him. It feels like he was the odd man out of this lineup.
Maybe, unless they're going to go ahead and do the same thing with Roddick Fox again, ? He's been the one that's been up and down in the lineup. They were talking about possibly getting Rope Hintz as a game-time decision. That did not come through. Adam Henrique, the same thing for Edmonton, so they're both still out. And I noticed something in the pregame as well that they talked about with Stuart Skinner. Again, when he was screened with shots on goal within the first, 2 series, he was about a .680 save percentage. Now, within these last 3 games, he's well over 850, almost 900 on screens itself. So they're saying that he's getting up on posture, being able to slide left to right, finding a way. Again, it's a little bit different depending on who screens you, of course, but Skinner's numbers have been better. And as you said, their penalty kill and everything else has been immaculate. They're above 93% now. So Edmonton is playing quite well. And we'll see if they can take this game too. I think you and I are going to lean Stars here this time, but I would not be shocked if Edmonton can find a way to keep this close again. We could have another barn burner.
We could. It's every game has been very tight until the very end of it. Game 1 between the Panthers and Rangers, tactical suffocation. Game 2, that was yesterday, that was one that the Rangers absolutely need to have, and they answered in kind. Who had Barclay Goodrow as the overtime hero? That wasn't on my bingo card.
No, it wasn't. Again, we had that push, and that was a lot of fun to watch. We think that series is going to be really good. We still think this series is going to be really good. I wouldn't say there isn't any pressure on the Edmonton Oilers. They do want to go up 2-0, but I do think most of it obviously has to be on the Stars. You don't want to go down again, although I will say this. If you go down 2-0 against the Edmonton Oilers, when you went down 2-0 against Vegas, it does carry a little bit less weight against it, but you don't want to get involved into bad habits either if you're the Stars.
No, you don't. Especially since you never won a Game 1 under Peter DeBoer. If you go down 2-0 against the Oilers, and I know this may be the quote-unquote easiest matchup that the Stars have had, but since you went down 2-0 against the defending champions, against the defending champions, it feels like a taller task coming back against them, but they did do that. So I feel anything is possible for the Stars at this moment, but for the Oilers, for a team that didn't come in with Stanley Cup expectations heading into the playoffs, they have to feel at an all-time high in terms of confidence level now.
Yeah, Alec, because they're farther along than they were 2 years ago. They already got a win here in the Western Conference Finals. They're as close as they've ever been to a cup in a long time. Just 7 more victories. I know that's a gargantuan time away, but just a few more weeks now for Jake Ottinger. He has been absolutely brilliant, although his road splits and home splits are quite different. But he does have a .920 save percentage in totality, which is the best of any goaltender in the postseason. I don't think Jake Ottinger needs to play much better. I think the Dallas offense needs to activate. That's my key into Game 2. We'll see if they can do so. They were talking about defensive pairings trying to score as well to help out some of these forwards. Jason Robertson hasn't scored, I believe, in about 8 games, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. If they can get on the score sheet, because he was good in that OT, hitting a couple posts. But we're underway. It's left or right now. As this opportunity, Connor McDavid off the cross pass, good stick in the lane. In Dallas, I'm imagining shooting out of the cannon here early, see if they can do it. Mason Marchment, that was a check. He tried to pick that one up as it got hit from behind, and now Dallas will watch this one bounce with Esa Lundell. Again, we mentioned Lundell and Tanev being the one that gave up all 3 goals in that pairing against the top players. You would expect them to be better as well. You think Dallas is a completely different effort. We'll see if Edmonton buys into that at all. As Miro Heiskanen will get punished off a hit. Edmonton now will pick it up with Leon Draisaitl as this one will go back around the end boards. Evander Kane will watch. This one gets fluttered to the net, but Dallas gets a stick on it. And now Jamie Benn will play this up ahead. And we'll see who matches up with that Connor McDavid top line as well on the forwards end. That'll be something to keep an eye on, as this is punched in by Holloway, and Jake Ottinger will hold for the first stoppage in this game.
Yeah, we did mention about who's going to be subbed out if Dellandrea were to come into the lineup. You were asking Faksa. It is Faksa who is subbed out.
That is something that has been a game-time decision here and there. And Connor McDavid, look, he gets a wood on Chris Tanev as he tries to finish his hit. So Connor McDavid was the one that was in that position before in the Vancouver series, but now he gets out of the front foot and delivers a hit, which is good to see.
Yeah, it was Tanev. Who had a clutch block on McDavid.
He did. He's known for a lot of that. The face-off one actually goes outside the zone from the pass from Cody Ceci. So Edmonton will have to go ahead and pick it up again, as this will be toward the right dot. Again, they rode white jerseys with the blue and the orange mixing the striping. They'll have it now, as this will be a fluttering pass toward the right dot in the offensive end for Dallas. Here's an opportunity. Sam Steele, he turns on the full burners. He gets hit in toward the left side boards. This is picked off here by the Edmonton Oilers. It's an opportunity for Hyman off a couple of spins. He'll try to get this off a stick lift. Stun all around, and now Dallas gets the interception. They're neutral. Steele try to send this one in from Craig Smith. Combination play, Darnell Nurse. Soft pass to Vincent Desharnais. Try to chip it off the glass. It bounced it away from Ryan. Stankoven tries to find it. Here is Harley off the spin. And this is picked up now by Edmonton. Derek Ryan off the drop pass from McLeod. But this gets knocked away from him with an outstretch. Picked up now for Vincent Desharnais. 17:40 left to go in this first. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava. This is Game 2 of the Western Conference Final. It was a 3-2 victory for Edmonton in Game 1 in double OT as this goes off sides.
Now we speak of the Dallas game plan, what to do here. Though the Edmonton game plan, how they can continue to exploit this steady defense. In recent history, both teams have faced struggles in winning the first game of a playoff series. They were combined 1-13 in the last 4 years in game ones. But the Oilers eventually came out on top in this one, 32 seconds into the double overtime.
And we saw on that final goal as well, he had two defensemen commit in behind the net, which left Connor McDavid wide open from a really good pass from Zach Hyman, and ended up finishing that one off. So you got to watch out for those adjustments as well. We've been talking about that in this pregame leading into this early here in game 2 because it's important. We expect Dallas to come out with a little bit better of an effort. RNH will make the play back to defense as a slap pass. It'll work in behind the end boards again. Jake Ottinger's in the stand-up. Feet out in front, attempted, gets picked off. It's Essa Lindell leading the charge. His lob pass, Connor McDavid. This one does not get cleared out of the zone. Now Dallas tries to funnel it towards Skinner. It gets blocked a couple times. McDavid is back on the back check as this one is lobbed out of the zone now. Opportunity now for Dallas with Joe Pavelski. Miro Heiskanen set it up. Whole game the left side red line and dump it in. Opportunity near the right side boards now. Jamie Benn trying to throw a body out there and dislodge the puck as Logan Stankoven looks ahead. This will be pushed ahead by Evander Kane. They'll loft it in. Jake Ottinger now back around Miro Heiskanen. And this is tipped right in off the rush for Benn. It's a 2-on-1 with Stankoven. He scores! Jamie Benn! 1-0 Dallas!
We did mention about quick starts for the Stars, and boy did they get their quick start. What they asked for is exactly what the doctor ordered in Dallas. Benn off the 2-on-1 was faking shot this entire time. He has Stankoven open to his left side. This was started up off the breakout. He caught Dylan Holloway out of position. And the only defender back there was Brett Kulak. And note that the only defender back there, he had to play guesswork on that. Benn picked the far side, which was the open side that Skinner left wide open. You see Johnston create this play. Cody Ceci tried to pinch on Johnston, and that's what bit Ceci. And with Benn going to his right, that's what caught the first goal.
You said that perfectly, Alec, because I'm watching it again in the replay in real time. And Skinner's playing pass, and Jimmy Benn's got the whole bottom right side of that corner to shoot. That's exactly where he places it. One shot, one goal, and immediately now I have those thoughts of Skinner in some of the previous games. Again, that was too wide open to shoot with. Now an opportunity now is Sagan almost blew right down the middle, but that pass was picked up at the last moment. So Dallas scores on the first shot. That puts the fans in the frenzy here at American Airlines Center. Ceci now off the rush. Bounces off Ottinger, and Edmonton returns the favor. Are you kidding?
Oh, just like that. I think it's Connor Brown who got this one. Just like that. Connor Brown, who the Oilers signed to a veteran minimum contract. But wow, two quick goals in a trice. What chaos here, John.
I can't believe that. You have the bottom six line again, who's been a pain in the you-know-what, yet Warren Fogle lead it. And then Ottinger just gives up the juiciest rebound of all, as Fogle able to send it the other way. And as you said, Connor Brown picks up his own rebound after the pass. We're tied.
Yeah, that was Cody Ceci on the initial shot, and they got Ottinger to open up just enough on the 5-hole.
So, Dallas's good start's turned away. Essentially, we start back into a brand new ball game like it was never been a goal here, but it's 1-1. 15-15 left to go in the first. I'm getting a little nervous, Alec. I'm going over my first period goal quota as it's Sam Steele back in behind the end boards now. Opportunity. Edmonton quickly pushes this the other way. Near the left side, trying to finish a hit. Dallas will intercept the puck. That was about 40 seconds apart, not even. As Essa Lindell send this one in and outstretched. This will be near the Texas D. And now an opportunity. Carrick, watch, will get this one from Ekholm. He had nowhere to go. And this is with the neutral zone now here for Dallas. Looking for Mason Marchman from a Duchesne feed. Back in behind the net now, Edmonton. Try to make this a clean pass. Good loft as this goes from dot to dot. Zach Hyman, he gets spun around the end boards. Dallas tried to steal. It's Vincent Desharnais in through the mall traffic as this is picked up now. and then toward the left side blue line. This is fired to the net. This hardly hit him right in the skate. He might have lost a blade as he gets back up. When he looks fine now, he just got stunned. This is opportunity for Duchesne. Duchesne will flip it in. 14:05 left to go in the first. It's already a goal apiece. Edmonton 3-1 on the shot board. Dallas scored on their only shot from Jamie Benn. Connor Brown returned the favor shortly after. Opportunity back in behind the cage now for Darnell Nurse as Chris Knobloch's forwards take a change. Here's an outstretched pass from 50. This will be fired in. Jake Ottinger's got to be clean with this. He was not for a moment. And now Dallas, stutter step behind their own net for Chris Tanev. He's got to make a decision with it. It bounces. It'll stay in play. Evander Kane will pick up his defenseman. Will go up all the way back in his own net. Again, 1-1 contest in Game 2. Edmonton took the opener 3-2 in double OT. We've already had a couple quick goals. Ben's on the ice again. This goes to Johnston. What a save for Skinner. That might have also been blocked out in front. That was right in front of the slot. This one goes back down. Now for Petrovic, as he takes a big hit. Now right to left comes Dallas. As this goes down the right side, Tyler Seguin trying to join in. Still trying to find this in between a couple windmills and stick lifts. McLeod, they are able to get this out as Edmonton. And this outstretched pass is an easy read. It's a battle. They're neutral. Derek Ryan sent it the other way. McLeod with a wrister. This one goes wide. Fogle will try to pick it up. And Edmonton off the back skate with Matthias Ekholm will slow it down off the pass. It gets blocked off one of the stars. He'll go back to Bouchard. Bouchard now will send it in from 100. This will work out. Opportunity now. Hyman off the spin, but he loses it. Heiskanen able to steal that puck away. Sam Steele, tied to Landria. He gets it for Steele. This is way too hard off the end boards. Goes to the player's bench out of play. But we've got a quick start here, Alec.
Yeah, we do. Just the way that both teams like it. Jamie Benn, followed up by Connor Brown, 44 seconds apart. And for those who are living in the state of Oklahoma, please stay safe out there in the midst of the tornado watch that's going on there. Please remember to take cover in your basement or in the innermost room at the lowest floor of your house if you are under a tornado warning. Please be careful, my fellow Oklahomans.
Yeah, it's a good shout out there. Man, oh man, I wasn't even aware of that weather situation down there, but it can get a little crazy, so hopefully everyone able to stay safe, stay huddled up, and hopefully nothing happens to any of the houses over there, because once a tornado hits, man, oh man, it doesn't take much.
It doesn't. If you remember what happened in 2013 with the Norman tornadoes, that was the most devastating in Oklahoma's history.
So, Jamie Benn, 3:39 in this first from Wyatt Johnson and Heiskanen. That one off the rush, off of a low wrister near the left corner, and then Connor Brown after a Jake Ottinger rebound. 4:23 quickly after from Cece and Fogle. Those are your goals. Ottinger 2 of 3. Stuart Skinner pretty much doesn't have a save yet. He's got 0 of 1 at this point, but 12:21 left to go in this first. Again, I think we know what we thought we might see, but honestly, I didn't expect to get this many goals already because the entire first period of Game 1, there were some chances, but there were no goals. It certainly took a while. And maybe this game, as you said, Alec, is more like what both teams want, pushing the pace.
Who knows if it's going to be another tight outcome, perhaps a type of outcome that would be a 5-4 type of contest if we were to see these goals come more and more in bunches.
It definitely could, as we talked about. There's a lot of things that we think that we're going to see. Honestly, I will go out on a record and say this. I think there will be more goals scored in this series on a game-by-game basis in between Dallas and Edmonton more so than Florida and New York. I think that one's going to be a little bit tighter because of the goaltenders, the defense, and everything else. This one should be more open as far as a series, but we'll see if that continues. As Joe Pavelski, he'll finish one of his hits in the left side red line. It's very loose. He's near the right dot. Skinner, this one bounces, does not hit him. And now Edmonton, able to get another block, push the other way, Draisaitl. Here's a setup pass. And Ottinger, this is loose. He'll try to fall on it. I don't hear a whistle, but bodies are everywhere. This will go down the ice. Is this going to be blown dead? Yes, it is. That was a little bit weird.
Yeah, what's weird is was staying down for a couple seconds with Ottinger getting crowded by all sorts of bodies left and right. We were wondering where the whistle could potentially be. We didn't hear one at first, but now we do have a whistle. It's just not for a stoppage of play at Ottinger's end. The Oilers almost had another one with Evander Kane right over the right pad of Ottinger, somehow stayed out.
Yeah, that one was a lot closer than I initially called in terms of the mad scramble. As you mentioned, the Evander Kane, if we would have lifted it, it would have been 2-1. And Dallas probably would have been wondering where the whistle was if that would have went in. Connor McDavid off the backhand, and Ottinger makes his best save of the game so far.
Now we do have a close-up with McDavid on the backhand wraparound. That's something that you will want to see more. If you're going on wraparounds, it will be more on the forehand, but McDavid, being the best player in the world and being one of the most skilled players in the NHL, you see the backhand, and Kane, he thought he should have had that one. I felt he should have had that. Just went off the defender end of the stick.
Yes, it did. Evander Kane looked toward the skies. Offensive zone draw win. Connor trying to get this amongst the boards. Connor McDavid, again, everybody's probably battling an injury this time of year, but he's looking a lot more explosive to me in this game than I can ever remember throughout this series or previous ones before that. Again, he's got the one in double OT. This one goes off the side of the net from Hyman, and now all of a sudden, Edmonton's really buzzing. Hyman had nowhere to go. Dallas able to get the steal, a chip and chase play for Stankovic, and this is back to the defense. They'll slow up. Opportunity to try to take this one left to right, but Edmonton, I think, has had the better play right now. We've said that through game one as well. It's really shocked me. Now that Edmonton isn't a good team, again, you deserve to be here. The penalty kill has been excellent, all of that, but Dallas facing another press, and we've had some of those talks about Dallas is not going to be Vancouver and struggle for offense, but they're struggling right now. Richard, if you didn't fan on that, that could have been a wide open net. My goodness, he went right down the middle of the ice past everybody. Opportunity now for Matthias Ekholm. We'll just slap shot it around the inboards. Takes a crazy carry right to Miro Heiskanen. And this will be lofted. Here's an on-stretch reach for it. Dallas trying to get on this puck to create something off the forecheck. Again, it's pretty fortunate to say that it's 1-1 considering those last few chances. I'm changing my tune pretty quickly here. Connor Brown able to get this one out. And this will bounce toward the right side. Dallas keep it in. Good save, Skinner on Seguin.
That would have been his sixth goal of the playoffs thus far. Tyler Seguin has been on a heater ever since the second round. And he was looking to get on the board there. He had a wide open look all alone at the slot off the one-timer. He aimed for it glove side on Skinner. Skinner kept that out for his first save of this game.
And Tyler Seguin looked like me when I don't score on an open net in NHL 24. That look of disgust and maybe bewilderment as we go to break.
Oh, well, you want to have the taste of Turkish food, and that's what you want to have. Well, ironic I'm saying this because I have some nice Turkish food for dinner before this.
That's a pretty good call there on your part, Alec. Again, we're going to be able to watch a good game. You got some good food. That's what you want to have on a weekend side. Shots are 9-2 Edmonton. Hits are 6-3. Faceoffs 5-3. All in favor of the Oilers right now as we got halfway through the first. Are you surprised at all?
Yeah, that shot total looks like if I was playing NHL 24 in semi-pro mode. 9-2 shot boards. It sounds like this. The Oilers are taking this offense to another level right now. More so to where we can say it's two ends of the spectrum. You got an offensive explosion on the Western Conference Final, a defensive battle in the Eastern Conference Final. To this date, if you were to include 6-game series and 7-game series, the lowest scoring 6-game playoff series to date as of now, the 2002 Eastern Conference Final of a combined 16 goals between the Canes and the Leafs.
Yeah, so we'll see if that continues on the side in between the Rangers and the Panthers. I feel like it could. I mean, game two, that was pretty wonderful. Again, if you're a Panthers fan, that probably hurt a little bit, but that was the answer that you needed to see. And I'm glad that you said it to me that way for the Rangers, because you really needed to see that, again, on the other side, because Florida really took care of business in game one. and then you go back in and respond. I mean, you covered that game the other day as we switched sports in between the Mavs. You had another one-possession game in both of those there, so Dallas Stars want to return the favor, try to get this even, as the Mavericks are already up 2, and they're going home, as this is an opportunity now. Back around for Ryan. I'll send this to his defense. Here's a wrister. It's saved by Ottinger easily. How do you see that Mavericks Timberwolves series so far? Those have been 2 nail-biters.
It's too close to call. Even though the Mavs are up 2-0, I'm not going to say the series is over by now. A series doesn't end after 2 games. It's not a best-of-3 series. You have to play the games. Minnesota can get back in this. They came back with 2-0. They didn't cut 2-0. They were up 2-0 against the Nuggets. Now they're the ones down 2-0 against Dallas. It's doable for Minnesota. You got to tighten up defensively. You have to go man-on-man situations. But that was a good screen by Dallas to force a switch to Rudy Gobert on Luka to get the primary defender for Luka away from him.
Yeah, I think the coaching and everything else is growing alongside Jason Kidd as well. They got everything kind of locked in, and they're looking pretty good right now. We'll see what they can do when they play tomorrow night. There's an opportunity for Edmonton off the rush again. Bouchard, he was leading the charge. There's a pass alongside Hyman. McDavid, this puck is blown dead. We are getting a penalty.
Okay, I thought this was going to be for the puck being frozen behind the net, but we're getting a high sticking penalty. Evan Bouchard seemed to have drawn this penalty from behind. We're seeing Edsel Lindell. I think he's going to go to the box.
You got it right, Alec. Right at the 10-15 marker of the first, Edsel Lindell will sit. Let me see. He got a cross check and then a hold. And then I'm not sure what Bouchard was reacting to because I didn't see it hit him at the end, but he's in the box.
Yeah, I feel he tried to sell it. I think Bouchard tried to sell this one on the high stick. I think he sold this one.
That's a pretty good, masterful sell. I should say masterful, not pretty good. That was masterful there. So now Delandria has to try to get this one against Draisaitl. Good luck there. And this will go back. And maybe fortunate for the Stars, we'll get to do this draw again.
Now I know if you're going back to the Mavs T-Wolves series, if you're Minnesota, you have to tweak some things up. If you want the if you want a secondary defender on Luka, if you're going off the screen, you'll be thinking Jaden McDaniels on him, but you want to get Nickeil Alexander-Walker on him. Rudy Gobert is more of the paint defender. You want to get an arc defender.
I agree with you completely. Anyone that does not, I think needs to go back to defense school because you don't need Rudy Gobert trying to defend threes. It didn't work for them a few years ago against the Donovan Mitchell-Rudy Gobert Jazz when Dallas took them apart. Connor McDavid off the draw for Bouchard. Have to find the entry again. Edmonton's first power play. Again, they only got one of those in game 1, but they killed 5 penalties. So Dallas does not take very many penalties, so we'll see if Edmonton can just find a way to get something here and take the lead. They're already 10-2 on the shot board. As this is center on the inboards from McDavid to Draisaitl. Lofted back to Connor. We'll take this one to RNH. Send it back to his defense now. Let everybody get settled. Here's an opportunity now for Edmonton. That's Bouchard. He thought about shooting it. This one will just be a weird-looking pass. Back to Connor McDavid in an attempt. See if he can get a stick on it. And now, Dallas, they won't touch this puck because they'd have too many men. It's Draisaitl. Draisaitl now slow up near the right side wing. He'll wait. He's still patient. Send it back to Bouchard. Power play down to 35 seconds. Bouchard. Draisaitl. Still trying to find something. Right to the right side red line. It's an opportunity for RNH. RNH back to Draisaitl. They're not shooting until now. This bounces up in the air. Picked up now for Hyman for a moment. RNH did not pinch. This is kept in by Bouchard. Opportunity now for Draisaitl. Will spin. This is McDavid to the net. And this one gets sticked away. Edmonton still with it. Connor McDavid against the left wall. Extra pass, trying to find Draisaitl. 1-T. This is McDavid. Edsel Lindell. As they can't get a shot during that power play. And Bouchard, as it went out, off the slot back in. So Dallas survives, blows a tire, and behind their own left side red line. That was a little odd. We've seen a few of that now. It was sent in from Tanev, who fell down. Picked up now Darnell Nurse off the tie-up. It's Evander Kane. Edmonton rush the other way, trying to make sure they get the stick on puck. We'll send this one in. Miro Heiskanen under a couple saves. Rebounds. And it's not loose again. No whistle. For whatever reason. Here's a wrister. And now we get one in the glove.
Another one of those weird sequences. We had two of those already. So Jake Oettinger hounded by multiple shots. The Oilers now on the double-digit marker on the shot board. But Oettinger is doing a good job of manning his crease. Like that from the Otter.
And Alec, I gotta mention this because Eddie Olchuk's going nuts here on the TNT side. I don't blame him. There's no whistles there, as we mentioned, but Jake Oettinger, he is not succumbing to the pressure. He's not expecting anything. He's just making the saves that he's got to make, and he's staying poised, isn't he?
Yeah, even if the puck was under his pads and the whistle was not blown there, I feel Stars fans have to be upset about that it happened twice.
Yeah, Jake Oettinger has been brilliant in this period. Again, 12 of 13 right now. I know he's given up a goal, but honestly, the way that it's been, Edmonton could have 3 or 4 right now. This has been a really excellent first period for them, even though it's tied. Jamie Benn off the rush, that was essentially their only shot. They got 2 shots and 6:10 left to go in the first. This is not the start that Dallas wanted. I don't think they expected Edmonton to punch them right in the mouth. And they might have to exchange the favor of Rogers. Cody Ceci now leading the rush. And when you're seeing him lead the rush, start to get a little bit concerned if you're Dallas, because then everybody's activating at this point. Kulak try to get this in behind his net from Skinner. It'll be picked off the left side red line and flipped in by the Stars. See if the Victory Green can get anything going toward the end of this first period when we'll be switching it back to Alec for the second. This is now sent in. Opportunity for Harlan. They'll send it back around one more time. Petrovic's pass. This will be an opportunity for Evgeny Dadonov. First time we get a chance to call his name. He's been pretty good in these playoffs. This will stay in. Fake the slapper. Now toward the right side. Dallas saying it again, gets robbed. My goodness. He's been all around it during the postseason. Opportunity now. Dadonov, what a loft pass. Lindell. Wyatt Johnston, one-timer blocked. That was Dadonov, excuse me. Is this one sent in now the other way? Dylan Holloway, one-handed. He bowls over everybody, and the net gets loose.
Oh my goodness. That was a car crash right onto Oettinger. With Holloway getting ran right into, took Chris Tanev with him. Oettinger maybe feeling something as the net got off. Do we have a bit of something here? Maybe a power play for Dallas? We don't know. Oettinger's feeling it.
Dylan Holloway and Tanev got smoked there on the opportunity. He got bowled over like a bowling ball. We'll go ahead and take a half and half commercial we talked about. We'll see if we get any calls out of that, but looks like everybody's okay. 5 minutes left to go in the first. We'll take a break.
Yeah, it feels like everyone's okay for this current moment between both sides, but that was heavy by Holloway on Tanev. It was a bigger impact than what we would expect. Oettinger was getting the bulk of that for the most part.
So, I know I mentioned him earlier, Alec, and I hate to press the repeat button so soon, but if you're grading Oettinger's performance right now, you got to give him at least an A, correct?
Yeah, I'll give him at least an A for this. No matter how many shots that he is facing, no matter how much the offense for the Stars is leaving him out to dry, it feels there's nothing generated for the Stars for the most part aside that Jamie Benn goal. But so far, I'll give Oettinger full marks on this one.
Yeah, I think you have to, and I'm expecting. Again, I think I put this in the vote side. Do you think the Oilers will steal Game 2 as well? Well, we already got some Oilers fans in here with a couple of votes, both of them saying yes. The way that they're playing, I wouldn't be surprised at this point, although I would be completely shocked, to be honest with you, if this game is done and I see the Oilers on the right side of the scoreline. Because I'll just say it as plain as day. I know it's 5 minutes left to go in the first, but I expected better from the Dallas Stars right now. Again, as you mentioned, Vegas up 2-0 in that series to start, and the Stars did come back. But you can't keep getting yourself into those same habits. But also, it's one of the things I have to say this too, Alec. Maybe whatever the Edmonton Oilers are doing is truly bothering the Stars.
I feel what they're doing, yes, indeed, they are. Whether it be with the lights out attacking plan or the suffocating defense from Paul Coffey's units, feels like the Oilers, they're truly bothering the Stars now. He may have said the same thing about the Golden Knights when they went up 2-0. Dallas can come back, but feels like we need to see more of that because we're not seeing enough from the Stars. I did mention that they did have a fast start. Whoa, that they cooled off and then some.
Yeah, it really did. It evaporated before our eyes. And again, you look at the scoreline at 1-1, you're Dallas. You got to be real fortunate to think that it is again. And Connor McDavid from the double OT goal, and again, I'm watching him here in Game 2. He's got an extra pep in his step, and this team is still playing well, and I think that's not a good sign if you're the Stars. Tons of time left to go in this game, but the shot board should now be 14-3 with 4:30 left to go in the first. This will go all the way down, and Dallas does not ice it. There is no whistle again. This is going to be a curious one. I might just have the title of the story, No Whistles, at this point. As this is sent back down, Connor McDavid, he gets tripped. This is now and around the end boards here. Dallas try to put it the other way, but they can back up in their own end. See if they can get going here. Miro Heiskanen, he's one that can get it done. We'll take the wrist shot right off the rush. I don't think it was a bad idea. This one will be hand grenaded in deep off the missed shot. Dallas now gets the interception with Stankovic. Heiskanen takes a hit, stays on his feet, try to get it back to Logan. Jamie Benn throws a puck out in front. It bounces off of Skinner. Edmonton sends it back down the other way. 3:45 left to go in the first. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava. It's a 1-1 game. Connor Brown and Jamie Benn with the goals, but it's been all Edmonton with the shots. This is picked off. Sent in across the red line now. Harley, combination pass and along the end boards. It is an opportunity. Wyatt Johnson off the spin, the 21-year-old getting some valuable postseason time. This one sent in now for Stankovic. Will try to retrieve his own puck. This is sent back around the end boards, loose, and Edmonton does get a stick on it to bail out Skinner. Full rush the other way. Opportunity off the spin. Hyman, Nurse, he'll activate. He'll get his shot blocked. Into the right side red line. Dallas try to pursue this puck the other way. It's Mason Marchment. He'll funnel it in behind Edmonton's defense as this goes around the end boards. Matt Duchene. Give a look now for Lindell, who finishes his check. Nicely. Dallas try to pinch to keep it in. Duchene still trying to get this near the right side boards. As Edmonton will find it one more time. Flip it back to Jake Ottinger. Will make a soft pass, and it's a good one to Lindell. Opportunity for the Edmonton forecheck. Dallas had to back up for a moment. Cody Ceci off the back skate from Dylan Holloway. He'll retrieve that pass. Ceci now try to send this one from left to right. It's picked off by Heiskanen and across the Texas D. Opportunity near the right side boards. Draisaitl will be on Hunt. This is in behind the cage for Skinner. Good backhanded pass. Here's a race for the puck. Jake Ottinger makes the smart play. He'll hold against Evander Kane.
Yeah, some close calls here, and you did mention about no whistles because we're getting some no whistle moments here for the officials. Well, some smart plays by Ottinger in covering this one up, especially in the last sequence, but still we see the shot disparity, 16-3 Edmonton. That needs to go up for Dallas on the other end.
I'm not saying this is going to happen, Alec, but the shot board pacing, if it kept that way all the way through, rough math would say shot board pacing would be 48-9 Edmonton over Dallas. That has to improve. As you said, it's absolutely bonkers from what we've seen in this first. Again, I can't imagine if you're Dallas, you have to be ready to start on time in this game. As you said, I mean, you're right at the Western Conference Finals. There is no easing into it at this point. You got to be ready. As this is now near the left side, spin, McDavid, good sauce pass. Back here for Hyman. Hyman now near the right circle. Edmonton patient running their offense. It's been a good period for them. As this is sent back in behind for Ekholm. Ekholm now will take a big hit as this goes back to the left side end boards, tied to Landria. Kind of wonder what he's feeling out there getting a start here in this game, too. Maybe Peter DeBoer's trying to find some energy. Draisaitl. Bouchard. This is tipped. McDavid a little wide. Opportunity now, Delandria. Delandria and Steele. Delandria will take the wrister. This one goes on a play. 1:09 left in the first.
I would imagine that Dallas would need to start firing more and get these offensive zone faceoffs towards their favor and winning them. Ty Dellandrea, good start as this was deflected out by Stuart Skinner, but you need to fire more of these into the zone. Just 4 shots in the first period is not going to do it.
I agree with you, Alec, and I agree in the sense of Ty Dellandrea there. Make the smart play, make the simple play. You're on the bottom lines. You want your coach to trust you. You want more ice time. Get shots on net and help your team. He did the right play there. We'll see if Dallas can get this draw, as you just talked about. They've been good in the circles, but not so much in this game right now. Is this one sent back down by Kulak? He iced it, though, so just less than a minute left to go. We'll try it again.
So this is your time now, Dallas, if you were to get the lead back. You scored the first goal. If there's a time to do it now, here it is. You want to pepper Stuart Skinner with more shots. Test him to the best of his abilities. He was tested last game, but you want to continue to test him now.
Yes, you do. Maybe that monster energy that was behind the glass, maybe the Stars need it right now. Miro Heiskanen, here's a ripper. Speaking of tests, this one goes high enough the end glass. Picked up now for the Stars. It was Miro Heiskanen. Flip it in. 40 seconds thereabouts left to go in the first. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava. It's a 1-1 scoreline, but that tells you not the entire story here, as Jamie Benn will get dispossessed. Long outstretch, it's Heiskanen again one more time with the steal. Try to shovel it ahead to Logan Stankovic, loose puck. And Wyatt Johnston, he was fortunate to get to it. Maybe Edmonton was even more fortunate. Johnston, as this is Harley off the spin and turn. Down to 10 seconds, Dallas starting to buzz. Stankovic! That was off Skinner's dome. 5 seconds left. Picked up now. Lindell sends it in. Down to 2. We get a whistle. And I've certainly had the action on top of me in this first period. I'm not used to it.
Well, so now if you're Dallas, what do you do with 3 seconds left? I would imagine that if there was a time that you want to pull the goaltender in the offensive zone, you have to do it with less than 3 seconds if you're willing to go the extra risk.
Yeah, if you want to, honestly, Alec, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's not really a chance for Edmonton to shoot this thing the length of the ice and score. Logan Stankovic, that was a serious stick handle. This will be won by Edmonton, but that was an eventful first period. Shots on goal, yes, you're going to hear this correctly. 16-5 Edmonton as we go to break after 20, tied at 1.
Dallas was buzzing at the end of the first period. Maybe they could use this to start off the second period on a similar rush of energy with them. Good ending for them. It was, outside that, was all Oilers in that first period. The 16-5 shot differential speaks as to such that power play helped them to some degree as they were continuing with sustained puck possession. The Oilers 5-on-5 has been the definition of this game.
Yes, it has. And again, you kind of wondered 5-on-5, how do the Oilers fare against the Dallas Stars, who are really well-rounded across the board? Yes, I know they're missing real big hints. And when he does come back, maybe Game 3, Game 4 of this series, that'll be a boon for the Stars. But honestly, Alec, the answer is Edmonton's faring quite well 5-on-5. They're doing well on the power play when they do get chances, although we haven't seen a lot of that in this series because Dallas doesn't commit a lot of penalties. But 5-on-5, power play, penalty kill, Edmonton, they're handling everything that Dallas has been able to throw at them. And honestly, the Oilers have been throwing more of the punches in this series so far.
That's a shocking thing for us to say here, John, because we would expect the Stars to be throwing the more punches. But here come the Oilers. Something to note, the Stars are actually doing better on the road this postseason rather than their home ice, which is weird.
It is weird. And again, Dallas is one of the teams, as you mentioned, I know you've thrown this out there before, like the best record on the road in comparison to any teams. And if you're Edmonton, they're already a really good home team. I think as we sit here in the first 20 minutes in the intermission, and I'm Chris Knobloch, I say, give it a period before I go ahead and make these comments that I'm about to make. I'll pretend I'm Chris Knobloch and say this, Alec. We're not satisfied with a 1-1 series split at this point. Hell, it certainly doesn't look like it. It looks like the Oilers are ready to take both of these games. If Dallas does go down 2-0 in this series, they're going to have to find a way to at least win one at Rogers. And honestly, I think from the way that the Oilers are playing, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, if the Oilers go up 2-0, I think they'll go back to Dallas at worst 3-1.
That could be a possibility, knowing that the Oilers, do remember, for as good as the Stars are on the road, the Oilers are 28-9-4 in the regular season at home. Dallas 26-10-5 on the road. But at the same time, Dallas is 26-11-4 at home during the regular season.
Yeah.
But that's not really mattering much. Even with the Oilers on the road being 21-18-2. And also keep in mind, Vegas was also 18-17-6 on the road during the regular season. And Colorado, 19-16-6.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that too, because completely different records the other way in comparison when we're dealing with the Oilers. But again, it's one of the situations for me where I think I have to give them more credit than I even thought it was going to be the situation, because I told you honestly when we covered the first game in between Florida and New York, I would be surprised if the Oilers even win a game and get this to 5. That was my max. I wouldn't even be surprised if there was a sweep. Well, that possibility's out the window. And now after watching 110 now, if I can do the rough math, plus minutes of action here from the double OT. The Oilers, we talked about it from game 1, and I asked you whether or not they got a shot, and you said, let's wait and see. I'm still going to let you wait and see for the entirety of game 2, to be fair. But right now, my belief system in the Oilers probably started at 0, Alec, I'll admit to you. And right now, it's well over 60% here.
I may be with you the same thing. I was skeptical of the Oilers going to the Stanley Cup final. Hell, I even had them losing to the Canucks in the second round. And now, that's going out the window now. The belief in the Oilers, perhaps it's increasing every minute that we watch this team. This is a team that we didn't think would get past the second round. I know you had them losing to the Kings in the first round, but so far, so good under Chris Knoblauch and Paul Coffey leading the way behind the bench. And this Oilers team has really turned it around. You make the low-key additions at the deadline, and even though Adam Henrique has not played a lot in the second round and the conference finals, the Oilers are showing maybe they're not needing him as of right now, but they could certainly use him once he is back and ready.
They could. I mean, they're still not using Corey Perry at this point, who I thought would be grit and sandpaper against the Stars, former star there. They're not using Sam Gagner. You got Matthias Janmark, Sam Carrick, Connor Brown, who've been a good fourth line. Honestly, that third line of McLeod, Fogle, and Derek Ryan, I think they've given me more offensive production than I even expected, Alec.
Yeah, it feels like it's the names that you do not expect that would score the goals. That means Fogle, Brown, Janmark, even Brett Kulak and Cody Ceci we can throw into this list, because among the third pairing defensemen, we did not expect Kulak and Ceci to combine for 3 goals thus far in the playoffs.
No, you're getting all those goals. And then also on the defensive side, which has been well documented at this point, Evan Bouchard, if the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, I'm not going to go that far ahead, but I'm just throwing this out there. If they win the Stanley Cup, you know who's going to win MVP right now? Evan Bouchard.
I'll give you full marks on that one if Bouchard wins the Conn Smythe. I'm going to go Leon Draisaitl, but I'm not ruling out Bouchard from Conn Smythe voting if the Oilers win the Stanley Cup. Plus, a Stanley Cup for Sam Gagner, who has gone more than 1,000 games without winning one.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a storyline. I'm not going to disagree with you on Draisaitl either. It's just amazing. And I think the point that we're both getting to, which you both understand here with Paul Coffey and Chris Knoblauch and all of that, I know Evan Bouchard really is still a young kid, to be honest with you, but he's paying top line time with Matthias Ekholm. He's been a revelation. I mean, we said it a couple seasons ago with this Oilers team, and we talk about defense. I think you and I could do our inner monologue and laugh, because there was no defense for this team at all a couple of seasons ago, and yet they still made the Western Conference Finals. Now they already have a win in the bag, which tells you to lead you to believe they made it farther than they did a couple of years ago already with one more win, but you still need 7 more. But they are giving everything that Dallas can handle right now, and I'm going to be so intrigued when you take over in this second period, Alec, because I'm going to lay it on the line right now for Peter DeBoer. You better come out on this next side of this 20 minutes and punch the Edmonton Oilers. You need to get that counter punch. Throw a couple haymakers of your own and show you. I think the way the Oilers are playing, they're locking it down and they're playing well. But if I'm Dallas, I also want to make this comparison too. Don't play with your food anymore. Go back out there and dominate this next 20. If I don't see this completely change a little bit, I'm going to be nervous for Dallas if we hit the third period. So I'll be really interested to see how Dallas comes out in your second once you have the cold.
Yeah, I feel the Oilers are exploiting the Dallas defense as of right now. The Stars, in the first 2 rounds, for as good as they were offensively, they were not really that way. 11 out of 16 playoff teams and 5-on-5 goals per hour. The success was largely driven by the fact that they've allowed just 1.5 goals against per hour at the 5-on-5, which is first in the league by a significant margin, and that's thanks to Jake Ottinger. And the major factor in the defensive success was the pairing of Esa Lindell and Chris Tanev. Not to mention about Thomas Harley and Miro Heiskanen driving the offense on the back end. But what about everyone else for Dallas? They're relying on 5 defensemen because it's pretty much a toss-up between Niels Lundqvist and Alex Petrovic as the 6th defenseman. All the other 5, which you include Ryan Suter in that mix, Peter DeBoer is relying heavily on those 5. And then it's a toss-up for the 6th defenseman. You need to have the depth show up.
Yeah, you do. And again, I want to hit on the point that you just made because I agree with you. In the sense you got the 5 defensemen there for Dallas. They've already played a 7-game series against the Vegas Golden Knights. You had a double OT Matt Duchene winner against the Colorado Avalanche, almost essentially playing 7 games there too, considering that extra time. And you had 5 defensemen, as you mentioned. Is Dallas now, and their back-end defense especially, they're probably starting to feel it at this point right now during the playoff run, correct? I mean, you got to manage that ice time and do so correctly, and as you said, everyone else has to help out, because I imagine Dallas, they're getting pretty exhausted at this point.
Yeah, I feel they're starting to wear it now. They wear it and it's just starting to catch up to them. The wear and tear on their bodies, maybe feeling it there. Plus, if you realize about Dallas, if they do get out here, you do realize you have to take care of business with Duchene, a UFA, Thomas Harley's an RFA as well. So those 2 are your big priorities if you want to head into free agency if you're Jim Nill.
Well, I'll tell you this, Alec, from what you just told me about those 2, I am sitting down with them as soon as the season's over, and I'm able to as soon as that line starts. They're not going anywhere, and I imagine that Duchene's going to get a heck of a lot more money than he did essentially from the buyout, and the way Harley's played as a top-line D-man, he's going to cost you some big bucks.
Yeah, he's gonna. Say if you were to keep him around with Heiskanen on the long term, say if you were to start at, for a young defenseman who's been a revelation this season, would you start around $7 million?
So how old is Harley? Do you know?
He's 22.
Holy cow. Yeah, you know what, Alec? Considering that the cap is going up and all that too, I think 7's probably a fair number. I think if I'm Jim Nill, though, I don't disagree with your point. I think if I'm him, considering everybody else that I got signed and I want to sign in the future, I might try to maybe get him to go 6.5.
Yeah, you want to keep it team friendly so that you can also account for Duchene and to keep around Sam Steele and Craig Smith potentially for another year. Ty Dellandrea and RFA, he's due another contract. Scott Wedgwood is due another contract. As Chris Tanev, I don't know if he's going to stay or not. And Joe Pavelski, because he's 39, perhaps he goes for a Patrice Bergeron type of contract.
Yeah, that's where I would go if Joe Pavelski wants to stay. I think he would be more than happy to do so, especially if the Stars do win the Cup. I don't think you have to worry about Joe Pavelski. Although, as you mentioned with Chris Tanev, when you make that trade deadline acquisition with the Calgary Flames, I know we talked about this game one wasn't particularly good for Lindell and Tanev, but it's arguably been one of their better pairings. I make the move for Tanev. I think I want to hold on to him for another maybe short-term deal, maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, you could.
I think that's where I'm going to look with there. But again, you make some great points as far as Jim Nill, because you're locking everything up. And then if you're future-proof and stuff, I mean, look, Wyatt Johnson, Logan Stankoven, they're going to command some money. The good thing with that is by the time that they do, Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn's deals will be done. Jamie Benn, the captaincy, you would imagine he's going to take a heck of a lot less than $9 million. So things are going to definitely kind of move around. But there is a lot to do with this team. Yes, the Stars are very good, but you have a lot of young players who are also kind of budding into their own at the same time. And essentially what that means, you're going to have to put a lot of money in the pocketbooks. It's not going to be easy to keep this team around, I don't think.
No, you want to account for the youth. They're coming up. That means Johnston, Harley, and Stankoven. They've all came up, not to mention Ottinger and Heiskanen. They've come up nicely on their own. So you want to also account for the rest of the youth. Ty Dellandrea could be another option for you to in the long-term stretch. And some of the other prospects down for the middle. Ayrton Martino, to name one of them.
For Ty Dellandrea, I know a couple seasons ago he was starting to percolate a little bit. He has not found the same ice time. He's been a little bit more of a healthy scratch. I think of Ty Dellandrea, which he will get signed. The fortunate thing for Dallas is, with all the prospects and everything else that you just mentioned, they could probably get Dellandrea for more of a prove-it type deal, where they won't have to pay him that much. That'll be good for Dallas, but it'll be interesting to see how Jim Nill kind of circumnavigates this whole thing, gets everybody signed, keeps them all happy, because the way that you and I both expected, the Dallas Stars should be a cup contender for the next several seasons. But as Alec just mentioned, we went through these contracts. It's going to take a little bit to keep them all together, and it's also going to be interesting when Seguin and Benn are done, as we talked about, between the 9 and 8 million respectively going on for the two guys there. They're signed long term right now, but the next 3-4 years they'll be out. That's a lot of money coming off the books with the cap going up. But as we just said, the youngsters making that big push, they're going to command a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to watch the Stars. We already know what's going to happen with the Edmonton Oilers. You still got McDavid and Draisaitl, but every year that passes across for them and they don't get this done, there is a possibility that one of them may not be on the Oilers. Neither of us are saying that right now, but that is the saying in the hourglass we've been talking about for years.
Yeah, it may be trending towards that direction, but who knows who's going to be out here for the Oilers. We don't know if it's Draisaitl, and we don't know if it's McDavid. Do remember, $8.5 million cap hit for Draisaitl, $12.5 million for McDavid. That's what it's the money books here, especially when Evan Bouchard is due a pay raise in the summer of 25.
What kind of money do you think Evan Bouchard commands?
I feel top defenseman money.
The way he's played right now. And I will say this. When you talk about Draisaitl possibly getting MVP, I probably should lean that way. I was saying Evan Bouchard only because it's been eye-poppingly good. I think Ken Holland will secretly hope that Evan Bouchard doesn't win it, because that's going to be another thing in the clause where he's going to demand more money. Because if we're talking tops money for Bouchard, we're talking close to about 10.5 in the neighborhood or more. And I don't think the Oilers can exactly afford that, but they also can't afford to let Evan Bouchard walk.
And they can't. So you want to see. So you want to hope that Draisaitl wins the Conn Smythe in an extent, because he's your guy that you want to get a pay raise, that you want to pay up heading into 2025. Not to mention McDavid's due for a new contract in 26. So Bouchard, you'd be thinking $10.5 million. So, but that may mean you may have to be forced to move Darnell Nurse and retain some salary.
Yep, that's exactly where I was going to go. As soon as you mentioned Darnell Nurse, you're going to be retaining about half of that cap. And honestly, if you're Edmonton, you might take a little bit of a penalty for that, but you have to, because Darnell Nurse, again, we talk about the plus-minus with Vincent Desharnais. It's not been good in this playoffs. Again, he's making close to $10 million. He's making top defenseman money. He is not playing anywhere near a third-line defense, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to throw smoke at Darnell Nurse, but it's just not been good. And I don't think Edmonton can find a way to even keep him. They're going to have to take a pay cut, and they're going to have to eat some of that money, as you said.
Yeah, they will. They have to send him over to somewhere where it's a less pressure environment. But I feel the $9.25 million may come from the fact about, if you were to account for taxes in Canada, and not to mention about how high pressure of an environment it may be.
Darnell Nurse, welcome to the Columbus Blue Jackets, ? Or maybe a team like that?
Well, you may have to ask Don Waddell about this, considering he's the front runner to be the next GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I heard about that. Is he just stepping down, or did they decide that they were done with him?
He announced his resignation from the Hurricanes after he sought permission to seek for other GM vacancies around the league. And now, because of that, the Hurricanes, they promoted Eric Tulsky to interim general manager. And even if it's an interim basis for Tulsky, I think it's well deserved for him.
Alec, I'm going to say this not knowing anything about the insides of the Carolina organization. Oh, I see Dirk there. That's pretty cool. I think that's so well run. Any name that you get on the inside, I think Carolina is going to be just fine.
I feel they will be just fine with Tulsky leading the way at GM. We also have Travis Kelce in attendance here in Dallas, Texas. There's an old tweet. I really love hockey. I haven't stepped on the ice since I quit after playing 8 years. But that's got to change. I miss it too much. Well said from a decade ago.
That's a smart man, Travis Kelce. I know you're going to get set to take this second period. What are you expecting? I laid my thoughts out there that the Stars need to get a complete reversal here, but what do you think is going to happen?
Say, as you said, complete reversal of that first period. Tighten up on the offensive side. You need to test Stuart Skinner more and more. 5 shots in the first period, that's not going to cut it. So you want to get everyone involved, including your top guys, Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnston, and even throwing Matt Duchene in the mix. He had a double overtime winner against Colorado. This puck goes out of play to begin the second period, 14 seconds in, as they land onto Stuart Skinner. That you want to tighten up. You gotta fire more on Skinner.
Yeah, you do. And I wonder when Rope Hintz does come back, is he going to slate right into that top line, or are they going to keep Matt Duchene? Because Matt Duchene's already got a lot on his plate. Joe Pavelski's line's out there right now. Alec's going to take it away in the second period.
I was thinking more on the lines of Robertson, Hintz, Stankoven on the first line. Should Hintz come back? His 4th straight game that he's missing with an upper body injury. It's not specified what type of injury on the upper side of his body he is at, but I imagine it is there and it's lingering. 30 seconds into the second period, Adam Henrique is out for a 7th consecutive game with what is now specified as an ankle injury. So we do have the specifics of it. The Oilers are the attacking end. It's Kane on the hole, whacked around, trying to get this off, but the Dallas defense too much for him. There were 3 defenders around him. This puck goes back for Ceci. He has 2 goals so far in the playoffs. He gave it away. Here's Matt Duchene, split the defense. That is caught by Skinner. 55 seconds in, he'll hold on.
Well, it's a good call from Alec Nava per usual. Matt Duchene, easy read off the turnover. Makes no mistake, he tries to lift the thing top right corner. Snazzy glove save there from Stuart Skinner.
If we speak of surprises that we see that the Oilers, they're giving the Stars a run for their money here in this Western Conference Final, how about another surprise? No Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers? No problem.
That is a huge one. We'll have to look at that during the break. I got to ask you about TJ McConnell.
Yeah. And Ben Shepherd, that's a shot that was kicked up by Skinner. Far corner now picked up by Stankoven from Gretzky's office. Continue to look, sets up Johnston, short side, second chance. That is stopped by Skinner twice. And Stankoven gets it back for Lindell. Near corner, he cycles this through. Kulak beat them out to it. Jamie Benn there, Stankoven there, Johnston also there. Ben the youngsters. Do you remember Ben was on a line with Yuri Lettinen and Mike Modano previously? Johnston on the takeaway. It's forced behind the net. Near corner, shoved out by Kulak. Ben helps him out. He to his kid out. Stankoven hit the side of the cage. It is Johnston with this. Back over to Chris Tanev, who holds it just inside the line. Back over to the near corner. Stankoven one more time. Stankoven looks back over to Tanev. Holds it. Cycles this through. Around for the boards. Canceled out by Kulak. Oilers are trapped. Trying to get out. Stick with by Tanev. He once again keeps this one in. Near corner. Johnston spun around. Reaching there is Ben. Tyler Seguin out there on the ice. Seguin canceled out, and now here's Kane with this. Good hold by Lindell. Dallas is back with this, but it's taken away by Edmonton. Here's Kane for the near side ice. Kane, curl and drag move. That was blocked off the stick of Lindell, and out to the safety net it goes.
Smart plays for both teams there. Kane had to take that shot because he didn't want to give Dallas another chance off the rush. Logan Stankoven very patient and behind the cage of Skinner, who already makes a couple saves. And it looks like that backhand for Wyatt Johnston hit the inside of the post and stayed out.
Yeah, inside the crossbar, it almost went bar down and in.
That is crazy action, but as we said, this is what we expected from Dallas. They got to keep it going.
Yeah, it's fast turnaround here. They have the first free scoring chances here this second period. Oettinger plays it out. Over to the left side for Heiskanen. Heiskanen stretch pass over to Dodonov. That went off a skate, and here comes 97 back with this. Lead pass for RNH. Back is McDavid. Can't get beat out as is Heiskanen. Harley on the whack. Good hold by Nugent Hopkins. Cycles this one behind the net for McDavid. McDavid, short side, tried to backhand this one through. Was beat out to it. Dodonov tied up by Nugent Hopkins. Bouncing puck back with the Stars. Sagan had taken away. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Now low Hyman. Ottinger runs into him. Here's Tyler Sagan back the other direction. Lifts this one through. Matthias Ekholm will swat this one away. And up this one goes. And that will stop the action.
Well, Ottinger's going to have to re-snap his mask together and get locked in. He's already been locked in. Hyman was there trying to set a screen. He's stuck on a back skate there from RNH. And he's got nowhere to go. And Jake Ottinger's been on top of the action the entire game.
He so far has. Full marks to him, but that was Ottinger who got first contact on Hyman. Do we believe that was Hyman backpedaling, which caused Ottinger to launch forwards towards Hyman?
That's certainly what it looked like there. Now Skinner has to try to play this puck.
Greg Smith trying to get something going for the Stars. That's not going to happen here. Nurse leads the way, too far for Foegele. Ottinger played away from Foegele. On the near side, Petrovic leads the way over to Smith. Dellandrea over to the far side. Desharnais was there and gets it out. Dallas back up with this at neutral ice. Foegele sends it back over to the Dallas end. First to it is Ryan McLeod. This further line being a very consistent line. Foegele had it knocked away by Petrovic. And the lead pass to the far side for Ty Dellandrea, who's inserted back into his lineup for the first time since Game 6 against the Golden Knights. And on this queer, this is Darnell Nurse back the other direction. Leading the rush. Outside Duchesne. Backhands this one past Ottinger. It will be recollected by Chris Tanev. Tanev leading the way for the near side. Oilers were all over that. Here's Ottinger to the far corner. And Suter will play this one over. Down over the ice. This is Joe Pavelski being the first to this at the near side. Brett Kulak was there. Pavelski holding on to it. Matt Duchesne helping him out. Duchesne. Cohen drag over to the far side. Good keep by Lindell. Kulak cut that pass away from Pavelski. And his bouncing puck up high. Some Stars fans thought this was going to be out of play. Still in play as Carrick got it back over to Skinner. Skinner backhand is over to his left for Bouchard. And a stretch pass. Here comes Matthias Janmark waiting for some help. Find something. But around this goes for Dylan Holloway. No passing lane there. And Dallas will be back up with this. For the far side, they were tied up with this as two Oilers arrived there, including Kane. Evander Kane lead the way for Holloway. Holloway past Heiskanen. He gets it back. Holloway sandwiched towards the wall at the near corner. Stankoven took it away for a split second. The Oilers are back with this. Along the backhand from the point. Down low is Holloway near corner. Lead the way for Draisaitl. Pass too far for him, but he gets it back. From the right point is Ceci. Long shot. This one deflected up high and wide. Lead pass up front. Nothing doing there for Kane as he tried to find Holloway. Back behind that. Kane setting up for Draisaitl. Draisaitl looking towards the point. Finds Ceci. Ceci unloads one. This went off a stick. And it went out of play. 87 miles an hour on the shot from Ceci.
Good screen out in front of Jake Ottinger there. That thing went way out of the stick. Again, tomorrow it's going to be an interesting time slot on the weekend. 3 p.m. as they go back to Amaret Bank. 1-1 between the Rangers and the Panthers. So make sure you watch that one early on Sunday.
Yeah, one of the fans has driven 3,330 kilometers for his first home game for his favorite team, the Stars.
Kilometers, but we're not using, I guess we're using kilometers. That's usually a Canadian measurement.
Yeah, it's the metric system instead of the imperial system. Bank shot went wide for Ekholm. Connor McDavid tried to hold it. Stankoven baseball batted this one out. Bouchard leaned the way for the Nuge as he dumps it in over to the far corner. Tanev the first there. McDavid holds it. McDavid cut away by Johnson, helping him as Hyman. Hyman shot up high and wide. Tanev there, looking to get this away from McDavid. Spins around, McDavid-esque style. Can't get this one out as Bouchard holds it in from Jamie Benn. Bouchard's second try at it. Dallas gets it out. Leading the way for Ben was Stankoven. Ben holding at the right point. Backhand this one over to the near corner. Johnson has a lead pass up front. What a save by Stuart Skinner. His best of the game. Are you kidding us? Dallas on the hold. Can't get much of that. Ekholm directs it out. McDavid lost an edge. Here is Petrovic firing this one over for the near side. Bouchard the first there. Can't get this one out. Robertson's on the hold. Dadonov, far side of the left circle. Down and out over to Robertson. From the near corner out at the right circle. Robertson finding a clapper for Petrovic. This reaches Skinner. And this rebound control by Sagan for a split second. Spun away by Danuch. Danuch takes it away. RNH directing his zone over to the right side. Handled down by Ryan Suter. Suter bank pass through the middle. Here comes the rush for Dallas. Dadonov up and around. Dadonov looking for some passing options. Near corner, spun it over, sharp angle. And falling on it was Sagan. This loose puck still not loose. And finally, this play is whistled dead as it reaches Skinner.
Well, I hope they show that again, because I want to say, I think Stuart Skinner got that with the paddle of his stick as he was facing the wrong way. Johnson put it toward, it's to Dadonov. He reaches out, and then it just gets taken away as he reached out with the stick. Dadonov was right there. I don't know how Skinner got a piece of it, but the Oilers defense cleans that up. I guess that's why you paid Darnell Nurse the money. And then a cross-check against Sagan the other way. We'll see if that one gets called. But yet again, as we go to break, that was another 15 seconds or so, Alec, where I'm waiting for the whistle to be blown. But I guess the refs don't want to do that today.
I guess not. Especially the crew of Garrett Rank and Jan Hebert, the linesmen being Shandor Alfonso and Johnny Murray. Oh, we do have a penalty out of this. It's going to go against Nurse. Interference as Tyler Sagan drew that power play for Dallas.
Yeah, he got hit pretty good in front of the net, so it is the right call. That's what we got here. Again, I was just making mention of what Alec just got before the commercial break. So the Pacers have a 41-37 lead at the Fieldhouse. Again, they need that because they don't have Tyrese Haliburton. On the other side, you got Ben Shepherd inserted in the lineup. He doesn't have any points, but he's the starter side of it. They still used TJ McConnell off the bench. I thought he made the starting guard. He's got 6, but Miles Turner with 12, Pascal Siakam with 13. I guess the big man getting it done, 6 to 7, 5 of 8 shooting respectively.
And I've seen a lot of slander towards Jason Tatum after game 2, after Jaylen Brown had that 40 piece. Well, it looks like Tatum has something to say about that slander. So far, despite the Celtics being down, he has 15 points.
Yeah, again, I agree with you completely. Every time, Alec, when you mention about Jason Tatum, anybody that throws any shade there toward Tatum, again, I always say is a top 5 player at worst. I don't understand it. I'd kill to have somebody like that on my team.
Yeah, I would as well. Bring him over to Houston, perhaps, if that were to happen, as that last shot right went off the pad and then off the mask of Skinner, as Dallas is now on the power play. But yes, we mentioned, we would love to have a superstar like Jason Tatum on our teams. He can play at a very high level. Johnston from Heiskanen, down low, this goes down inside. Ben on it, poked away. And here comes Edmonton with this. That could have been Dallas breaking that 19 straight penalty kill streak for the Oilers. Right there at the spot as Jamie Benn trying to get Dallas back to lead early. 5-for-5, the Oilers on the PK in game 1. Hopefully they can make it 20 on their end, but Dallas is looking to end that. Here's Robertson from Johnston, co-stop by McLeod. Excellent defense by the Oilers, held in by Heiskanen. A ripper! That's a stop by Skinner. Edmonton's trying to clear his McLeod through the near side. Good hold by Jamie Benn. Rips one, blocked in front, the second whack, and a third one. Didn't make it all the way there. Heiskanen over to the right side. Johnston across over to Robertson. Robertson dropped it to nobody. And this could spark a rush here for the Oilers. McLeod's taking this casually. Has Fogle with him. Just puts one up Ottinger. And this will go over back for Dallas as they get their second unit out there. Robertson leads the way on the dump in. Desharnais is the first one there at the near corner. It's cut away from Robertson, and Edmonton gets it out. Thomas Harley leading the second unit. And over the right side, this drop pass for Duchesne and onto the opposite side on the entry. Leading the way is Marchment. Marchment drops back. Pass intercepted. Connor Brown closed off. No breakaway for him. Logan Stankoven leading the way on this second unit now. Up with speed for the near side. Stankoven around. Joe Pavelski, who used to be on this first unit, is now in the second unit. Pavelski pokes away. Edmonton tries to clear. This might be deflected out, and they rule it as such.
Well, we did say what would we might see in between Edmonton and Dallas in the second period. Right now, not even 9 minutes into the second stanza, it's been all Stars. Just funneling chances in front of the net. And right now, Stuart Skinner has had to play well, and he's responded.
He has answered a call here. Even though his save percentage is .889, 8 or 9 saves at this point in time. All right then, I see you, Skinner.
Yeah, he's needed it right now off the push as we will do this draw again. Looks like Joe Pavelski going to get waved out for Matt Duchene against Draisaitl.
95 in the victory green. Off this faceoff, he loses it. The Oilers get to it. Still held in by Duchene. He's cut away by Kulak for a split second. Gets it back. Open man, a shot. Who's in front? The Oilers get it away. Here's Draisaitl. Could be a 2-on-1 at the end of this. Draisaitl looks CC's direction. Had it poked away at the last moment, but that's now 20 straight penalties killed. 2-on-2 back the other way for Dallas. Centering pass up front. This went right in front of Skinner. Joe Pavelski on the keep. Can't do much of that. The Oilers get to it. Edmonton trying to get this one out, and they do. Here's 97 back with this. McDavid, one-on-one with Heiskanen. Shoved over to the near corner. Had a jostle free. Dallas moving up for the near side. Pavelski chopped away at it. Here is Duchene on the re-entry. Duchene. Bouchard watching him. Around this goes, and now it's Ekholm. At the near corner, now skating is over Bouchard, his defensive partner. Off the far board, sent inside by Hyman. But Dallas is back with this. Tanev looks to get it out. A pass from Delangelo to Smith and right back, cut away by the Oilers. And a drop pass right back. Here's Bouchard, who overskated for just a bit. And now sends this one in. Tanev is the first to the puck. Tried to get it out. Can't do so at this moment. Smith was slowed down. It's Kane back with this. Opposite wall, sent in for McDavid. Marchment was winning, but that was Lindell. Hyman can't reach this loose puck. Dallas is getting over to the Edmonton zone. Bouchard, stretch pass over the middle, but this icing is going to be canceled out as a reach, Ottinger. And so, now we have a late shove by Ryan Suter on Ryan McLeod. Some Ryan on Ryan violence.
Yeah, I think Suter knew what he was doing there, just trying to show them that the Dallas Stars are here in this period, and they don't want the Edmonton Oilers to walk all over them. Honestly, I think this is a face-off that Edmonton really needs. Again, that first 10 minutes has been all Dallas, and if it was not for Stuart Skinner there, that penalty would have not been killed.
If it wasn't for him, yeah, that penalty would not be killed. Well, Patrick Mahomes has responded back at Travis Kelce. Yo, get out of my arena. Go Stars.
That's good work there. Good tongue-in-cheek from both of the football superstars. Everybody loves the game of hockey.
Yeah, everyone has gained the recognition it truly deserves. Perhaps Mahomes and Kelce could be reunited for a potential Game 5.
That could be fun to watch. Again, you want to be able to see this. It's a pretty fun game. A lot of things change during the playoffs, and you see the best competition in any sports. But I think the NHL game, when it hits playoffs, it's completely changed more so than any other sport.
Yeah, this is the best time of the year for hockey fans. Face off is won by McLeod. This goes back over to Nurse. Nurse rips one. Glove down by Ottinger, who hold on with 9:50 left in the second.
Not a bad idea. Edmonton needs some of those shots. They're kind of getting worked against in the second period. We're getting the pushback that we're seeing here. Again, only 2 penalties to speak of. Dallas doesn't take much, and Edmonton's not staying in the box as much. You got Connor Brown with his first from Cody Ceci and Warren Fogle at 4:23. That response was the Jimmy Benn goal. Wyatt Johnson from Miro Heiskanen at 3:39. It was a good time to do the reset anyway because I didn't know we were going to break. But Jake Ottinger, 17 of 18. And for Stuart Skinner, 9 of 10. Again, his numbers have really jumped up in this second period. It is 18-10 on shots. Hits are now 10-8 Dallas. Faceoffs 15-11 Edmonton. So pretty even game. We've seen the pushback from Dallas here toward the first half of this second period. We'll see if that continues, and we'll also keep you monitored in between Boston and Indiana. Indiana has an 8-point lead, 48-40, with 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, they're using a 17-8 push here in this second quarter. And a big shout out to Miles Turner, who's leading the pace. Of course, they're living up to their name, Pacers, because they like to play fast. Exactly how Indy fans, they're celebrating. Is this a weekend that they would love to have? You have two Pacers home games, both today and on Monday. And you have the Indy 500 as well. We're not sure if there's going to be a postponement for inclement weather that will push it back over to Monday. But it's a good weekend for motorsports fans, considering that tomorrow you have the Coca-Cola 600 and the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to do this weekend. I'll try to watch it a little bit on the off day Sunday before getting prepared. Admittedly, I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and cover Game 3 of this series. If it's just as good as it is from Game 1, I probably will have to again. Probably lean Oilers, Stars, and then New York and Florida. I'd be eager to jump back into that, but I'm going to try to find a way to get a Mavericks and T-Wolves game in there, because you've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I almost wanted to jump onto the Mavericks T-Wolves series, but just like you, I decided to take an off day up until I saw the Rangers-Panthers game was close.
Yeah, that's the way it goes there. It's a tough time this year to try to get all the assignments in. We're trying to find good matchups for all of you as this gets iced, and I think we have. This should be pretty fun for both respective conference finals, and then when we do get into the NBA finals and the Stanley Cup finals, I know I lean one way. It's just too bad they play on the same days, because I would like to cover an NBA finals game at some point too.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do some more solo calls on NBA finals for what it seems, if it was the way it goes, and we'll join each other for a Stanley Cup final action, possibly get Cooper and Ian on the Stanley Cup final action.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. I know we usually lean 2-3 broadcast crew at most. It's probably what we will have, but it'll be a good time. You take it away.
Here are the Oilers on the attacking zone. They've been the better of the two teams in the first period. Here's Draisaitl moving inside, and a save by Andre. The rebound can't be set up in front. Dallas trying to take this one away. It's Bouchard in the hold. Near corner, McDavid pressured, and Dallas finally clears. The Stars need to get something up here. Just so far, they have 10 shots, but they've been the better of the two teams in the second period. But Edmonton's pushing back now. Kane for McDavid. Looks to the point over to Bouchard. Overskated, held it in, and that was blocked inside by Tanev, who gets it over to Dadonov. The pass was tied up for Johnston. Johnston, big hit. Or at the blow lines, McDavid's rushing to this puck. He beats out Dadonov. Spun around by Dadonov, and McDavid finds the open man. Kane tied up on the shot by Ben. Kane holds it in. This goes backwards for Haskin, and both teams go for changes. 8:45 left in the second period. So it's been a role reversal here. John is the majority of the goals. I'm here calling some of the best action on the goaltending efforts. Here's Ben near corner. Reverse hits his man, but goes down on a tumble from Ekholm. Stankovic hit up high. Some fans are wondering where the penalty is at. Here's Johnston on to keep up around this goes. And beat out too by Desharnais, who lost his stick and went on a tumble. Oh! And that was Jamie Benn who lost his stick. Warren Fogle on the takeaway. It's jostled up. He was looking for Derek Ryan. Up front this goes. And we have a stoppage here, but it's pretty much a low-hitting game, 11-8, where we're not expecting this to be a physical series, but we were seeing the physicality come up as most intensifying moments.
Yeah, Desharnais got away with one against Stankovic when they hit him right in the face. Jimmy Benn did respond. I thought Jimmy Benn had his best shift in this game, though, because when you look at it, McDavid was sprung wide open near the left side dot. He rumbled all the way back on a back check to deny an opportunity right out in front against Evander Kane. That was good work from the Dallas captaincy.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but why this was not called elbowing against Desharnais is beyond me, because we both can agree that there should have been one called there.
Absolutely, that was a complete missed call.
On the takeaway off a misplay by Dallas, Sam Carrick, Connor Brown, he's tied up, rebound loose, Otter shut it down, and we have a whistle despite the fact the puck came free. And now it went from no whistles to whistles.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that works, isn't it, Alec? I feel like the refs are getting a little bit too crazy, a little overzealous there again. As you mentioned, that third line is doing damage again as far as McLeod and Fogle and everybody else. And now they'll go right back to McDavid here and try to get this draw.
Yeah, it's looking a little antsy here on both ends of the ice. with all sorts of loose action and the physicality. McDavid off the faceoff. Bouchard waits, trying to get a deflection from Hyman, didn't get one there. Hyman sandwiched towards the wall. Dallas does get it out. Edmonton re-enters this with McDavid and sends back for Bouchard. McDavid had it tied up. Pavelski on the takeaway. Lee passes to Shane. Sent one across. No offside here. This one went wide of Skinner. On to keep us Duchesne. Forced on the backhand away from McDavid. Pavelski. Sent one up for Duchesne. That one went in front of Skinner. Good hold here by Lindell. Fired one. Deflected wide. And this will be kept up. Spun around. Chris Tanev on the hold. Around the boards. Past Gretzky's office. From the hold is Lindell. Back around. Over to the right point. Rush for this puck. Tanev saw this one go out of zone. He'll recollect. Chris Tanev away from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And the lead pass for Duchesne. Duchesne to the right side. This bounced off of Nugent-Hopkins' stick. A fan pass from Bouchard. Bouchard bouncing puck. Hyman can't get this one forward. And this saucer pass over to Dellandrea, who sends it over to the near corner. And then right behind the net as Sam Steele got driven there. Bouchard pins him towards the wall. Still emerges with this. Steele behind is Dellandrea. Out in front, Smith! Up high and wide! That was his best chance. Smith still with this puck. Turnaround shot. Who's in front? Skinner with the save. A third look for Dallas is back at the point. Petrovic, he had it bounce off his stick and rushes back for this puck. Edmonton tried to snatch it away, but it's all Dallas here in these last few minutes. Edmonton tying their men up. Janmark leads away for Carrick. Sam Carrick saw this bounce over to Ottinger, played it over to Harley. Janmark on the hold on his former team. Dellandrea also tied up. He clears it out. And back with this is Ceci, who finds Koak. Lead pass for Connor Brown. He had his first goal since 2018 in the playoffs when he was a Toronto Maple Leaf. And up this goes. Craig Smith was tied up, but Dellandrea helps him out. Shot it all the way over to Skinner, who will play it out for Koak. Fans on their seats, but I can assure you they're loud and proud. Kane sends this up forward. Ryan Suter played this out over to Heiskanen, and all this goes to the near boards. Draisaitl can't hold. Here's Tyler Seguin breaking free near side. Seguin curl and drag. This bounce off of Skinner's pad as the defense for the Oilers was not fooled. Kane airs this one over to the far side. Dylan Holloway was beat out too by Ryan Suter as that was a saucer pass way up for the air, but that was an icing.
Very close for the Edmonton defense as Craig Smith just shot it completely the wrong way near the left post. He was open enough to try to finish that one. But the Edmonton defense starting to bend a lot. If that rubber band bends anymore, it might break.
That's hopefully not the case for Edmonton should they continue with this, given the work of Paul Coffey turning around this defense. Draisaitl off the faceoff. Nurse fighting Ceci. Ceci over the near side. This one banked in off of Kane. Andrew plays one behind. Over to Heiskanen. Heiskanen looks to clear. Does so. Recollected by Nurse. Deflected inside by Kane. Suter was the first there, but immediately gets tied up by Holloway. Holds onto his stick. Kane also tied up. Holloway on the keep. Back behind it, Heiskanen finding Dadonov. Dadonov over to the far side center for Seguin. At the left side, return feed for Seguin out in front. Save! Rebound! Another stop by Skinner. Seguin sits out in front. That one knocked away by Derek Ryan. Stankovic on the keep. Left side is Lindell back for Seguin. On the hole is Stankovic. Canceled out by Ryan. Poke free. And Draisaitl sends this down just enough for the Oilers to get some viable changes here. Lindell through the far side. Centered up front for Johnston is back onto the ice. Wide Johnston. Matthias Ekholm on the way there. Can't get it out. Chris Tanev on the hold. Bouncing puck up for McLeod. McLeod leads the way. On his backhand sends it over to Fogle. Warren Fogle back behind net for McLeod. Return feed. Bounced off a skate. Over to the point Bouchard. Fakes a slapper. Bouchard rips one. That was blocker side by Ottinger. Ekholm on the keep. Around for Fogle, who is tied up. Fogle wrists one over to Ottinger, who stops that one. Fogle over to the right point. It's Bouchard in the hold. Looks for an open lane. Finds one. Fogle back for Bouchard. Evan Bouchard looking over from a sharp angle. Can't do it there. Dallas blocks it. They get this one out. Matthias Ekholm was the first one back at this puck away from Stankovic. Ekholm with Stankovic chasing his tail. Over to the far boards. Entry feed over to McDavid. McDavid, or Nugent-Hopkins rather. Hymanson. Opposite to Shane. Hyman looking for a lane. Hyman spins around and fires it. Bounced off of Ottinger. McDavid in on it. He's tied up. And Dallas on the takeaway. Could they break even here? His deep pass, nothing there. As this was too far, icing.
And now the Oilers starting to find a little bit of their legs as Tyler Seguin again. I mean, he's going to be, as far as when this playoff ends in June and everything's all done, Tyler Seguin's going to get my vote for the most around the puck, more so than anyone of all the teams that are left. I don't know how many scoring chances Tyler Seguin's going to end up with, but he just seems to always be in front of the chaos.
He seems to be. In fact, yesterday, or 2 days ago, was the first time he scored in the conference finals since the year the Bruins won the Stanley Cup. That's insane to think about as that was chopped away. The Oilers will have to restart as Ekholm sends it through. It's run over onto the backboards. Dallas looks to get this one out, not cleared, as it is on the keep by Bouchard. Bouchard up and around. Draisaitl on his backhand, controlling for McDavid. Connor McDavid taken to the wall by Heiskanen. Trying to break even. Can't do so here. It's the Oilers on the keep. Draisaitl on his backhand. Draisaitl away from Duchesne. One-timer by Bouchard. This was stopped by Ottinger, and he'll hold on to this one. That was a bullet, 88 miles an hour.
That was a good setup for Leon Draisaitl. He was just trying to set up there for Bouchard. Spinning around, buying the space. Top line started to lock back in again for Edmonton as we take another break. But I do want to mention this one more time. In terms of that Ryan McLeod, Warren Foegele, Derek Ryan line, I don't know where they've stepped out from to try to play like a top line, but they are trying to give it to every other lines, whether it's Sam Steele or Craig Smith or whatever else. This third line for Edmonton and Chris Knobloch, they're playing like a second line right now, maybe even a top line. They've been really good. They've had some good minutes in this game.
These are two legitimate bottom six lines for Chris Knobloch's team, and they've effectively played their role all throughout, especially the McLeod line. People can knock on the Foegele trade when they trade away Ethan Bear, when it looked like Bear was a promising offensive defenseman. Well, Foegele has emerged into a solid forechecker for the Oilers and continued to do so dating back to his days from Carolina.
No, I agree with you, Alec. I think that they got it right. You want to see these players play their best when you get in the postseason, when the lights are the brightest and the stakes are the highest. And right now, when we looked at this matchup on paper and we saw Dallas and Edmonton, you're thinking, okay, Dallas should have the advantage on the bottom six lines, correct? That's what everybody was picking here. But right now, Edmonton's been able to play even for the most part, and at times, especially through game one and now in game two, when they put those bottom six lines out there, I can't tell of a drop-off in play because there isn't one.
No, it really feels like it's too much to determine if there's truly a drop-off on play. Every line is played to each and every one of their strengths. Another trade I want to mention that people knocked on, the Ekholm trade. People were saying Nashville won the trade. Well, Tyson Barrie, he was a healthy scratch in that first round. He's an offensive defenseman and a power play quarterback, but nothing more than that. Ekholm's an all-round defenseman, the type of player that you want to have for a playoff team. And this not only helps the Oilers, it also helps Evan Bouchard, knowing that he learned from Duncan Keith the year before.
Yeah, you nailed it, Alec. It was a transformational type move, and alongside Paul Coffey, this Edmonton team looks completely different than it did 2 years ago.
Yeah, especially so. We're back into the action. 2:45 remains here in the second period. We do not have a goal here in this middle frame. They get to see one. Perhaps someone will break even here, whether it be the Oilers or the Stars. The shots are 21-14 Edmonton in this second period. There's a barrage of shots by the Oilers in that first period. Entry pass. Here's Janmark for the far side. Matthias Janmark right behind the cage. Wraparound shut out by Ottinger. On the strip and steal is Janmark again. Forced behind the net by Steele. Janmark one more time. Bouncing puck up high. This goes over to the far corner. Right behind the net. This loose puck probably free. Smith has it. And the rush for the other way. This one sent up high. And the laid offside ends Dallas' chance of establishing a rush. 2:05 left. Bank pass for Kane. Poke forward by Draisaitl. Draisaitl is in. Heiskanen shuts them off. Kane jumps on it. Bouncing puck for Dadonov. Forced out. Nurse. Rico out this one over to Desharnais, who sends it over to Ottinger. Jake Ottinger over to Ryan Suter, who sends this one down for the ice. Bouncing puck. We recollected by the Oilers for a split second before this goes back for Dallas as Lindell got spun around. 1:40 left. Here's Heiskanen. Through the penalty box doors over to Robertson, who is sandwiched by Draisaitl. Evander Kane there. There are no Nurse there, but poke free. This goes back over to Ottinger. Dylan Holloway hurrying him up. And immediately Ottinger fighting Suter. This puck over to center ice and back around for Nurse. Nurse thinks twice before trying to make the pass. And backwards this goes over to the left circle. His left circle rather. And then the lead pass over to the Oiler bench. Holloway stripped away from Heiskanen. Couldn't control this one. Tyler Seguin saw it get poked free. Seguin leads away for the near side. Stanley with speed. Lost the puck as he was tied up by Nurse. Final minute of the second period. We're tied here 1-1. 97 leads the rush. CMD drops it over Kane. Kane's shot was forced wide by Tanev. And the rebound picked up by Dallas. Stankoven held inside by Ekholm. Ekholm on second whack at it. This goes over to Lindell at the near corner. Tanev forced over behind the net. And Bouchard saw it poked free. Stankoven sends it over to Ben. Ben drops it back. Here is Lindell. Set up pass right in front. Not there. Now the shot. Jamie Benn! He had an open net. Good job by the Oilers defense on denying him a shot. Here comes RNH. Waits for some help at the left circle. RNH. One-timer by Ekholm. This reaches out here. The puck free. And Ottinger was forced into the net. The whistle was blown. And no goal. And that's the correct call.
Yeah, it looked like on the push-in that the puck was actually across the net after that shot was set up. McDavid was trying to make a play, but you just called it. Jamie Benn, that is a complete tie-up there. Excellent work for Zach Hyman, who says he can't play defense and he save a goal before the end of the second period to keep it 1-1.
Yeah, he for sure did save a goal there. Ottinger, he was forced inside the crease, and that was the correct call by the officials to rule it no goal. And I don't blame the Stars for standing up for their goaltender because Ottinger, he was forced inside the crease.
Yeah, they have to do it, Alec, because we talk about it from the first period especially. We had some sequences where Ottinger made 4 or 5 saves. Hey, we're waiting for a whistle. 15 seconds later, there still isn't one, and we're still under play. So I think they got to take exception to it as they should.
You mentioned about the no whistle. And there's Hyman, who might have just taken his last shift of the second period. And this, a tie about the face-off, but we'll have to do it again. There was a false start.
22.8 now. They've added some time. See if we can get a key draw here for Edmonton. Not lost in all that commotion that we just had.
And no love lost here. It's Pavelski and McDavid on the draw. Believe what the Stars got tossed out. The face-off dot. Pavelski wins this. It goes behind for Lindell. Lindell can't get this one out. Get a second chance at it. Third try at it for Pavelski. And finally it's out for Dallas. Last chance for Edmonton. Trying to lead this way 10 seconds. Ekholm sends this one on for Ottinger. Ottinger, seeing that Draisaitl is coming in, he forces a face-off to his right.
Well, no questions here for Chris Knoblauch. You keep out number 29 and 91 together on the same side. Looking at the rough play inside the crease. Jake Ottinger is going to need some extra ice bags when this is all said and done. I mean, you've had backhand shovels. You had Iman that was trying to go backwards in the net. We got one more draw, though.
Tie up on the face-off is behind Ottinger. Forced around over to the far side. That's going to end the second period. And one last hit by Warren Foegele as he is testing Mason Marchment. There's some wars between them as we end the second period. No love lost between them. 25-15 the shots here after 40 minutes. 1-1 is our scoreline.
And you know what, Alec? I'm going to go ahead and say it between Warren Foegele. I like that. Dallas was able to get a couple hits on you to show them that they were here. Edmonton at the end of the period, they say, we'll respond. We're right here still. Still 1-1. Again, a little bit different that you didn't have the goals, and I had some of the goals there, but you had so many saves, some defensive action, some excellent play there from Zach Hyman at the end. Jamie Benn to be able to save a goal. We've had about 4 or 5 of those that could have went in the back of the net. This should not be a 1-1 game. But both teams paid attention to detail there. That was another excellent 20 minutes. And I should say thank you again for always being professional, prepared, and be willing to work with me because I appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun. I think we both got more than we bargained for in this series between Dallas and Edmonton. It's been excellent.
It's been truly excellent. Once again, I appreciate that on the shout-out. Always nice having you here. And between these two teams, it feels like a well-written chess match between the Oilers, Attack, and Jake Ottinger.
Yeah, it has. And again, I will say this. From what we needed, Again, we have some questions on the YouTube side. It's 1-1. That's the score right now after 2. But from what we saw, you and I, as we said, we both expected a push from the Dallas Stars. Yeah, you got that in the first 10 minutes, and Stuart Skinner was busy. He's ended up having a great night right now, 14 out of 15. Jake Ottinger, 24 out of 25. But you took that first 10 minutes, couple almost goals there for the Dallas Stars as they were really pressing. They were hungry for it. Again, there was a shot that also binged off the inside of the crossbar for Wyatt Johnston and stayed out. But you took that 10 minutes if you're Edmonton. You survived that, and then you got the pushback of your own. And I know Edmonton's leading on the shot board by 10, but honestly, I have no idea who's going to score first in this third period. This game still feels like it's a toss-up.
That is if we ever get goals in the third period. Remember, we did not see a goal in the entire third period between the Rangers and the Panthers as they covered the second half of that third period and the entire overtime. With Barclay Goodrow getting his second career playoff overtime goal. The other one was the comeback completion for the San Jose Sharks on the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 7. But the Rangers and the Panthers, it feels like this game, the Stars and Oilers are pretty much copying and pasting what was Game 2 of yesterday.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I agree. It's kind of what you have to have, and if you're Edmonton, you know what? Again, you take that first 10 minutes from the second, you survive it as you mentioned. I think you go out in the third, hopefully kind of keep your same game plan and knowing that you're right there. Dallas, you throw out your best punch in the first 10 minutes. Can you go out there and do it again? Because Edmonton kind of looked to level the playing field. That'll be interesting to watch to see if that changes at all. I did want to mention this from the first intermission and throw it out there. I was talking about Miro Heiskanen and his amount of ice time and how it's continually impacted and gone up. Well, he's already at 1656, so that's right there. But Esa Lindell, he's the next closest at 1512 as they want to try to manage that as much as they can. Right now you got Tanev, Suter, Petrovic, Lindell, Heiskanen, and Harley on the defensive side. And then for Edmonton, let's take a quick look at the TLI here. Zach Hyman with a strong 15 to lead the forwards there alongside Connor McDavid, who's 20 seconds ahead of that. And Evan Bouchard, he leads everybody in ice time right now with 17-25. He does not have a goal, assist, a plus-minus, but he does have 2 shots on 17 shifts. He's been out there for a while. Both defenses have been good. And as you mentioned, Alec, in that second period, we had a lot of close calls. We'll see how many of those we get in the third. I happen to think maybe some of those close calls from the second could turn into goals here in this last period.
What it looks like, it feels like the close calls you mentioned, again, they could be goals, especially the Evander Kane one. He was so close, it went off the knob of Ottinger's stick. That's one close call, but Ottinger has been bullied here so far in the second period. And even throughout the game, several times he got ran into, especially with Dylan Holloway going into Chris Tanev and Tanev bumping into Ottinger staying in. But one thing that strikes out to me, and then to an earlier point, when you look at the ice times for the Stars, 14:04 for Harley, 16:56 for Heiskanen, 15:12 for Lindell, 14:27 for Tanev, 11:16 for Suter. As is mentioned, they're heavily reliant on 5 defensemen. Alex Petrovic is pretty much the odd man out, as he is 6:47 of time on ice, pretty much for a bottom 6 forward, if you ask me. But Petrovic is getting into some meaningful situations with Dallas substituting him in the place of the offensive-minded Nils Lundqvist. I feel they're getting Petrovic into more defensive situations because they want to bolster up the defense.
Yeah, you do. And you have to be able to pick and choose your spots there if you're Peter DeBoer, because you don't want to put the youngster on an island. So let me make sure I click on this and stop saying no, because he's 32. Again, he's just trying to go ahead and get some time on that side of it. I wanted to make sure I corrected myself there quickly. But, yeah, you have to do that. And on the other side, if you're Edmonton, you got maybe about 3.5 more minutes there for Vincent Desharnais. Yes, he's on the second line with Darnell Nurse, but he is one of those guys I don't lean on either. So in between Desharnais and in between Petrovic, I think you limit it as much as you can, as both coaches are trying to do. But as we've talked about, I wonder, though, as it continues to go along in these playoffs and you play every other day, if this decor for Dallas is going to start to get burned out. Hell, maybe that's one of the situations of why we found Ty Dellandrea in this game, because you need new forwards and new bloods to keep everyone else fresh, correct? I mean, it's a long playoff run.
Yeah, you nailed it. If you want fresh blood, then you have to lean towards guys like Sam Carrick if you're the Oilers. Heck, they didn't even have to use Troy Stecher yet in the playoffs. He's been a healthy scratch all throughout.
That's interesting to me, because if I thought about Troy Stecher, and this might be a little bit of bias in between the Coyotes or what we saw with the Flames, I thought Troy Stecher played pretty good with the Calgary Flames, and I would be surprised. This is just me talking out loud, but I think that he would be an upgrade over Vincent Desharnais, but I guess Desharnais is just he's built too much like a brick house. He's too big.
It feels like a big body type of defenseman. If you were to dress Stecher as a seventh defenseman, you would wonder who's going to come out the lineup among the four core. But given how good these forwards have played for the Oilers, I feel Chris Knobloch's going to have a hard time finding a place for Stecher in this lineup.
Yeah. No, you're right. Again, I think I've said the same thing there alongside you. I think the bottom six line for Edmonton, I don't know if I can say they outplayed the Dallas Stars, but you know what? Honestly, Alec, I think I should, because they're up 1-0 in the series. So, I mean, they've done way more than I expected them to do. I mean, going into it, as you talked about, I thought that would be where Dallas has their clear strength. Obviously, you got McDavid, RNH, Hyman, some of the top line. Those guys can outplay the top line of Jason Robertson when they do get Rope Hintz back, even when they do Wyatt Johnson. They can outplay those guys, but Dallas is supposed to have an advantage somewhere, and right now, I'm not seeing a clear advantage between either one of these teams.
It feels like it's too obscure. You're going to have to draw a line about where they'll have the advantage. If you're talking about top-end talent, that's clearly Edmonton. Defensively, you would think Dallas, but at this current rate with how they're going, the Oilers, they're doing more with less, thanks to their coaching.
Yeah, they are. Their coaching deserves probably the biggest shout out of all. And I will say this for myself, at least. Again, I never tried to bag on Stuart Skinner, but it was honest. We knew in the Vancouver side when he got pulled, it was a little bit rough. And Calvin Pickard came in, he played very well. And I thought it was pretty curious to be able to go back to Stuart Skinner. But you do have to have your top goalie. I mean, you have to have a guy that you rely on. And Stuart Skinner, honestly, from game one and now game two, he's played quite well. And if Edmonton can continue to play this way defensively, if they can continue to roll out all four lines and have that completely dominating penalty kill they have, this is one of the best penalty kills I've ever seen as far as playoffs is concerned. Skinner, he's done quite well. And you know what? All those concerns that I had for Stuart Skinner leading into this series, those are gone right now.
It is all gone. Based on his play, as he's given up 6 goals in a span of 4 games ever since he was inserted back into the lineup. The Oilers, they're quicking right now. As we mentioned back when they had that 16-game win streak, they're once again winning in tight, low-scoring games, which is what is needed if you were to win the playoffs.
I remember talking about that with you when we were covering during that streak, and that's exactly what I said to you too. I'm glad that you repeated it in the sense that we agree. Those are the type of games that you have to have if you want to win in the postseason. Again, as we talked about Edmonton, defense, those are things that don't normally go together. But I give a lot of credit there to Chris Knobloch, because you think about the beginning of the year, when they had that rough start, when they lost the Sharks, get rid of Jay Woodcroft. I was one of those guys on the other side saying, I don't know if that was the right idea, because Connor McDavid was injured. Obviously, they're going through some struggles. And maybe their collective penalty kill numbers are still very good across the regular season. But whatever they've done going into this playoffs has been nothing short of transformational. When you got Ekholm and Bouchard, they are doing all of the heavy lifting. That Darnell Nurse and Vincent Desharnais line hasn't done as much as you would like, but because Ekholm and Bouchard have been playing so well, and Kulak and Ceci have been able to give you some offense and not give up goals on their end, I think Edmonton doesn't have any complaints.
No complaints for them, indeed. They're not really complaining about how they got here. In fact, they don't really have much to complain about on the road that they've got there. The first round is basically the same old story between them and the LA Kings, but the second round, that was the eye-opener for the Oilers. They take out a well-rounded Canucks team, And to be fair, the Canucks were not getting the shooting output they would like, but still, taking out the Canucks, who are a top-end team in the Pacific Division, perhaps the favorite to come out of the Pacific Division, that's an eye-opener. And now you're going up against a Stars team and you're matching them toe-to-toe. You officially have my attention, Edmonton.
Yeah, and you know what? I should give Edmonton, everybody, an apology on this side because, look, I said the same thing. We both thought that the Oilers were going to win against Vancouver. Vancouver did give a little bit more of a push than I expected. But the one miscalculation on my part where I should issue the apology is this. 6 of the 7 games were 1-goal games. As I sat and talk about during this win streak, as you just mentioned, they're able to win a lot of 1-goal games, low-scoring games, get themselves ready for the playoffs. Well, they did that during the Vancouver Canucks series in a 7-gamer. A lot of 1-goal games there. They got themselves prepared for that. And because of that, I should have expected this type of effort against the Dallas Stars. Am I still a little shocked? Of course I am. But Edmonton's been preparing for this for a while now.
They have. All throughout. They've been studying the film. I believe they have been through thorough film sessions through the off days. If they were going to review what type of attack Dallas has, what type of systems they employ. And the Oilers are doing something that is expected of every team that's competing for a Stanley Cup. Adjust to their opponent.
Yeah. They're probably doing that, Alec, better than any other team that we have left in the postseason. I know there's only 4, but we started with 16. Maybe there was no expectations. Again, I always would pick against Edmonton because I wasn't ready for the defensive side, but I should have known better against the LA Kings because I've seen that story. But yeah, they have adjusted, and they've adjusted quite well. And again, it's only game 2. We're not even into the third period yet, so there's still a lot of leeway left to go in this series. But it's damn impressive nonetheless. Hell, if Edmonton, let me just take this a step further, Alec. If Edmonton got swept the rest of the way, I would just be completely impressed the way that they got back here, considering how well they played on defense. I mean, this is already a better effort than it was 2 years ago. And this is a team, honestly, now that I can look at, Alec, and when we talk about defense, I don't laugh inside. I actually have belief that the Oilers can win a 1-goal game, win tight games, and that's a step in the right direction. I understand they want much more than that, considering where they are. But this team might be under good hands with Chris Knobloch and company.
They may be. Perhaps on the long run, we're not sure, but there's the feeling that Jay Woodcroft was a short-term option. I don't know how long he was going to last if he were to be staying the whole season. But for Knobloch to turn this team around, and with the coaching staff that he's hired, it's a damn good job for the Oilers on this turnaround. Perhaps he has earned himself a longer-term stay. I don't know how many years he's going to be it, but I imagine, so you go not right now. Maybe down the line, he can and do more with this.
So look at it in a perspective like this. I won't completely change the direction. Well, let's talk about the Canadian team. Because you got the Oilers, you got Chris Knobloch, you have Vancouver with Rick Tocchet, you have the Toronto Maple Leafs now with Craig Berube, you got Montreal, Marty St. Louis. Who's over in Ottawa right now?
I believe that is Jack Martin.
Thank you. Yeah, he's still there right now. So who has the best coaching situation, would you say, of all the Canadian teams?
So if I'm in the best, if any of these one teams were to be in the best coaching situation, I would flip a coin between Rick Tocchet of the Canucks and Chris Knobloch of the Oilers. I am not counting out Craig Berube from the Toronto Maple Leafs because he's a good hire for them. But I think it's between Tocchet and Knobloch on this. But I'm leaning Tocchet from a certain point of view.
Okay, because that's kind of what I was leading into, and I was just going to say that. I'm looking at the Oilers between the Canadian teams, and I think the coaching staff in the situation, they're not in a bad situation. Again, I just led it to the Canadian side, but if you extended it across all 32 teams, maybe what Chris Knobloch's doing right now, Alec, is a top 5 job at worst. I mean, this is a completely different looking Edmonton team.
Yeah, it's very completely different compared to years past. Gone are the days of top heavy where you're leaning on McDavid and Draisaitl. You have everyone involved now. You have defense involved now. Yeah, I know the majority of production is coming from your top end guys, but you still have some of the depth guys producing offensively, such as the case Kulak, Ekholm, who is a number one defenseman on any other team outside of Edmonton. You have Kane, Holloway, Fogle, Janmark. Some of those guys are stepping up, and that's good of Edmonton to have them step up.
Yeah, because as you said, you have to have your top-end guys perform. That's what good teams have, superstars that they can go to. Checkmark box, that's done. Now good teams also have back-end to keep the puck out of their own net. Checkmark box, it's there. You can be alive on your specialty teams and get that done. Well, right now they're on a heater, so that's more than one checkmark box. And the way Stuart Skinner's playing right now, he's doing the job. So the Oilers, that just goes to show you that they're here for a reason right now. And again, I can say that to just reacclimate the point for myself so I can believe it in my brain. But that's where we are right now. The Edmonton Oilers are a damn good hockey team, and they are taking it right now to the Dallas Stars toe-to-toe. And who knows what happens, as Alex said, but I think from all the points that we made, my belief system is this: the Oilers, I don't think are going to be going away over the next couple of years. I think Chris Knobloch's kind of got this team to the best spot that they've ever been to under the McDavid and Draisaitl era. We both agree on that. We'll see if that continues. I will mention this on the other side for round ball. It is 80-66 Indiana. Still trying to hold on and get that first win at the Fieldhouse. 7:29 left in the third.
That's it's really tight. Don't let the score fool you, but Andrew Nembhard, he's up to 23 points. He had 21 in the first half, and on a very efficient 9 of 12 shooting. Spicy P is heating up, 20 points. Miles Turner, 19 points. The Pacers, they're playing efficiently and with house money now. 33 of 52 shooting as a team. A very efficient night. The Celtics, they're trying to claw back in. 22 for Jason Tatum. And Jaylen Brown, he's come alive with 16, and Al Horford has 15.
Do you want to take this first half and I'll close it?
It's basically a role reversal. I like that. How about it?
Go ahead.
Here we are, third period, and we do have some news around. That's when we get a stoppage here. So regarding Winnipeg and New York, respectively. So we'll be getting the news when we get the next stoppage. Matt Duchene for Joe Pavelski, trying to break even here at DFW. Nugent Hopkins back over at this. And this bouncing puck, Pavelski lost his stick. Oilers get this in. Heiskanen closed the door on it. This puck's kept in while the Oilers takes a spill. Back come the Stars, and it is Duchene. Up for the far side, right on Ekholm. Taking behind the net, this bounce on to Skinner. Try to stick it away, it's still alive behind the net. Stars still have it, Stankovic. Over to Harley, intercepting that is the Oilers as they go on to breakout. Lead pass up for McDavid. McDavid can do some damage here. Nice poke check by Tanev. McDavid gets it back. Tanev on another poke. Harley back at it. Thomas Harley. That's some great poke checks by Chris Tanev. No surprise, as I tried to say, he's one of the very best at his own end in the double overtime, but that was before McDavid scored the double overtime winner. Perhaps technically an announcer jinx, we have an offside here, so I got bit by the announcer jinx 2 days ago.
What was the news that you have for me? I'm curious.
So the news here, the Winnipeg Jets have officially filled in their head coaching vacancy. They promoted Scott Arnio to their head coach.
Not too bad. I think that's going to be okay. It's going to be hard to replace Rick Bowness. He is a legend, but I do think the Jets are in good standing. They want to get back and have a better playoff run.
Yeah, they want to. The other news I wanted to point out is that Jimmy Vesey exited the game. One-timer from Holloway. I almost got bit by the announcer jinx again there, John. So Jimmy Vesey, after being stung by Ryan Lomberg hit, is out week to week. Here comes Draisaitl. Pass across. Good block by Heiskanen on Kane. That was almost an announcer jinx. That's twice I could have been bit by it. Here's Dallas back the other direction. Some deflections there. This will go over to the Edmonton side. The icing waved off. Dadonov stick this one away. Here's Dallas on to keep at the far corner. Here's Dadonov back behind net, tied up by Desharnais. Desharnais rid Dadonov of the puck, and this goes over to Holloway, cleared out the center. So a blow here for the Rangers as they'll be dealing with VZ out week to week, potentially maybe for the rest of the playoffs should they advance to the Stanley Cup final. Matt Rempe filled in Game 2 with VZ out, so that'll get Rempe in potentially for the rest of the playoffs. Who knows, as we have an offside, but with VZ out of the equation for the Rangers, and with Rempe getting more ice time, perhaps the grit going the Rangers' way?
It could. It also makes me wonder, Alec, whether or not Blake Wheeler is going to get close to be ready to go, because that's somebody that you can safely insert in that bottom six if you don't want to always use Matt Rempe.
I mean, that is always a viable option, but that could essentially put Capo Caco, the odd man, out because he's an offensive-minded player, and Wheeler's the type of player to be a hard-working man offensively.
Okay, then completely disregard what I just said because I don't want to take out Capo Caco.
Well, you don't? Oh. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you there, John, but I too would find it hard to take out Caco, but here's a pass out in front. Here's Dallas back over this. Tanev loose one up, deflection wide. Stankoven trying to tuck this in. Loose puck. How did this not go in? Dallas had so many looks. This thing out, deflection for Stankoven. That one wide. Harley on another keep. No! This one out the center. Carter Brown, 1-0 Tanev. Fires one off the blocker of Ottinger. This is chaotic, John.
I can't believe that was just sitting across the goal line, sliding over there, stays out. I kept mentioning Edmonton getting closing to break here. They have not conceded, and now the puck is in Dallas's end.
It's McLeod who's tied up. Force it over to the opposite corner. So did the first one there. At the left point, Dallas gets this one out. Perhaps a scoring opportunity, but McLeod was in the way of Dellandrea, driven towards the wall, and sandwiched by Dellandrea. Dallas trying to get a scoring chance. Bouncing puck for Ryan Soder. Out in front this goes. Feed out for Mason Marchment. Tight angle. Stopped by Ice Skinner. Oilers trying to get this out. Steele holds it. Long shot. Soder safe. Score! Marchment tipped it in. Dallas is back on top.
Well, again, that's what I mentioned a little bit in the second and now in the third. After a couple chances just breathing across the goal line. Somebody put it away. This one gets deflected. Mason Marshall, what a huge goal for Dallas. They've been all around it. Now they finally get a go-ahead goal. 2-1.
Yeah, they had the first goal of this game, and it's perfect timing for Marchment to get them on the board here. That's just his second goal at the playoffs. This bounced off his stick towards the tie area. Legal batted this one down. It changed direction. That's hard for Skinner to stop if it changes direction, but he almost had that one.
How the heck did that bounce down and then still go through Skinner's armpit? That was a magnetic puck into the back of the net.
It attracted Marchment like a magnet, and it attracted Skinner like a magnet too. We're seeing magnets all over the ice. Tie up off the face-off. Oilers advance this forward. Not for long, though. Dallas does not ice it as Evan Bouchard, the first to this. Backhand is over to the far side. Glove down as the Oilers go the other direction. Bouchard leads the way to the near side for Hyman. Beat out to by Lindell. Back towards the point, cleared out by the Stars. Bouchard forward. Here comes McDavid. Re-entering this puck back in. Sandwiched along the wall by Lindell. Ekholm keeping it over to Gretzky's office. Danuge back for Bouchard. Loads one up. This bounces over Ottinger. Hyman keeps it over to the left point. Bouncing puck for Ekholm again. Ekholm on the keep. Intercepted by Heiskanen, who tried to clear. Glove down by Ekholm, but that was outside the zone. Batted down by Dallas, and they'll get this one out. Bouchard re-enters with the puck. Parks at the right point. Bouchard, lead pass up. Dallas swipes this on out, and a rush for this puck. It's going to be an icing. Jan Hebert sees it, so the linesman.
And now the fans starting to get on Stuart Skinner. I don't know if this is the right time to do that. As we take a look off the wraparound attempt, this is like the fourth time this game. It just bleeds across the goal line as bodies were falling all over the place. And then shortly after that, you get an unbelievable deflection from Mason Marchment. What a contest we've had so far. What a series.
It's just as good as the first game, John, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, this has been absolute theatrics here. It's been enjoyable.
Yeah, that second game between the Rangers and Panthers was also absolute theatrics among both goalies in Igor Shesterkin and Sergei Bobrovsky. Face-off won by the Stars, but they are tied up behind Ottinger's crease. At the left point, held inside by Edmonton. This is Draisaitl. Looks to set up Kane. That's stopped. And the rebound swept over to Robertson. Robertson tries to clear. Smith trying to help him out and does. Marchment from Suter officially on the goal. It's Marchment's second of the playoffs. Connor Brown, his first goal at the playoffs this year, and his first since 6 years when he was a Leaf. Big collision by the Stars on Dylan Holloway as he got rattled off his skates at center ice. He got winded, but drop pass from him to Kane. Draisaitl got spun around the left point. Draisaitl, another spinorama fighting over to the left side. Quick shot on front. Kane can't do it there. It's swept out. Good hold by Draisaitl. Rushing this puck. And finally, it's batted out by Dallas. Looking to get this one in as Sagan directs it over to the near corner. Dadonov back behind that. Wraparound attempt. Rebound loose. And that's sent wide by Stankoven. Looking to make this one a 3-1 game. This one goes out of play. No, this is kept in play. Ryan Suter saw it, thought it was going out, and he was caught napping. Near corner. Tie up along the wall. Connor Brown, Sam Carrick there for Edmonton. Poke free, it's Carrick. Sandwich along the wall. Left point, it's Bouchard. Bouchard waits with this. One-on-one with Ben. Loses man but stumbles. Bouchard back on his feet. Evan Bouchard still waiting. Fakes out Stankoven. Sends one on to Ottinger. That's kicked out. And Dallas gets it out. Recalling this one is Vinny Desharnais. Almost said David Desharnais. No relation between the two. On the takeaways, Johnson can't do much with that. Bouchard will drop it back over to Ekholm. 13:35 minutes here in the third period. Ekholm leads away near side. On the opposite wing is Hyman, who got slowed down. It's McDavid looking for someone. This takes a bounce off a stick. Marchment looks to find the back bank pass. Can't do it there. Dellandrea stumbled. It's still inside. Sam Steele sends it over to Dellandrea. And a big save by Stuart Skinner. Wow. He's responding in kind. And this one directing over. And Scott Wedgwood almost made a save.
Everybody's had to be involved right now. What a contest that we've had. Back and forth action. Holloway takes a massive hit right at center ice and then immediately pushes the puck the other way. That chance tried to set up Evander Kane near the right side. If that hits his stick, this one's also tied. And then a backhand opportunity for Stankoven goes wide. Ian joins us here. We go to break. This has been a good one. I'm glad you're along the ride with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been, well, I have started a new job. I'm working with valets for a very fancy schmancy hotel. See the likes where you see the likes of Marcus Spears and Caitlin Thornton for all you football aficionados. You should know who Marcus Spears is.
If you don't, I think you need to get your sports card revoked.
Right. But, so yeah, you see all kinds of flashy cars. My first week there, I see 3 Tesla Cybertrucks, so that should tell you. And today I saw a Maserati, so that should tell you what tax bracket is mostly at this hotel.
Well, hopefully they tip you well, my friend.
Well, I don't get tips because I work the key room, but they do tip. They tip well enough on busy days.
Sure.
But I'll tell you what, man. Don't count out these Dallas Stars. They've shown to be rather crafty and tough. Jesus, that hit on Holloway. Who was that?
Craig Smith.
What?
Craig Smith.
Craig is wow. But what's really got me happy is my Kansas City Royals are on an 8-game win streak, fellas.
They're playing quite well. They're trying to charge for the AL Central.
Yeah.
Alex got a few more minutes here, and then I'm going to close it out. But you take it away, Mr. Nava.
Yeah, speaking of baseball, the Pirates just downed the Braves 4-1. That's something that surprised me, knowing the state of where both franchises are at. It's behind Skinner now. Several whacks in it. Duchesne poked it away. And rushing to is Robertson. Can't center along. Bouchard intercepts. McDavid. Bruce center ice. One-on-one with Haskin. And this gets poked backwards. It's Draisaitl back with this. looks Bouchard's direction, delays, and then finds him. Evan Bouchard right back for Leon Draisaitl, and Leon, for the near side, waits, then gets forced out. McDavid saw this one go by him, and it's Ekholm picking this back up for Edmonton. Across for Bouchard. Set along for McDavid, trying to go along with Heiskanen. Heiskanen poked away from him. Bouncing puck, gone over to the Dallas blue line and sent inside. Intended for Dadonov, but it's poked away. For the near wing, this is Holloway takes it back up. Dylan Holloway, sandwich along the near corner by Robertson. Though not as big of a hit as he took from Craig Smith, but an effective one. Here's Kane, poked away by Lindell, held inside by the Oilers, turned over to Lindell. Bank pass on the stretch, it's Dadonov. That's windmilled and caught by Skinner, who stops it.
I like that tweet that you just sent out there to share, Ian, because Alec and I were talking about that. They've mentioned Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce many times during the broadcast, but hey, you're talking about hockey, but you never even skated, says Patrick to Travis.
I actually know that's Travis to Patrick, but regardless, it's still funny.
Oh, I love this discourse.
Although, dang, you know, we could see if we could have some film on Travis Kelce ice skate. That'd be something. That'd be something to watch.
I would hope.
And today on Ice Dancing with the Stars, Travis Kelce.
This as Thomas Harley gets denied by Stuart Skinner. I'd love to see Travis Kelce join along with J.J. Watt and Patrick Mahomes on some ice hockey.
That will never happen. That will never. That will never happen.
It's a dream, you know.
Yeah. At the next break, I'll help you understand why that will never happen. However, Alec.
Here we are. So, at the far side, Derek Ryan chopped away from Janmark. Ryan gets it right back. Stick lifted twice. Ryan around with the near boards. This goes over to Janmark. Shoved towards Wallaway Petrovic. Jumping onto it is what I believe is Harley. And this goes over around for the far side. Rushing to this, and we have a stoppage here with 11:25 in the third.
Just to clarify, gentlemen, why that will never happen. A clip came out of Patrick Mahomes playing some pickup basketball, and Brett Veach nearly had he nearly had Patrick Mahomes put in solitary confinement. He's like, nope, no more fun for you.
Come on, man.
Well, you know, franchise quarterback, best quarterback the Chiefs have ever had, a GM who at that point was just getting started. You know, if something happens to this beloved quarterback on your watch, your career is basically done. So I get it.
I would understand as well. 3 block shots for Jamie Benn. With 11:20 left to go in this third period, Dallas back with this is White. Johnston blew a tire, but gets back up. Stanley center along, too far for Johnston. Ben keeps it in. Kane dare to poke that one away. Kane goes down towards the wall. Ben can't get this one through. It's Nugent Hopkins with this. He'll just softly send this over to the far corner. Tanev will be the first recollecting this one. Opposite corner, Kane can't set it along, but now this goes back over to left point. Kulak lost the handle, gets it back, and fires along for the near boards or far boards. The Oilers have to go out and re-enter to prevent this offside. Dallas up for the near wing. Robertson set this one in. Nurse is the first one there. Where the far side is held inside is Pavelski. Pavelski, fancy move, but was blocked away. Edmonton can't get it out. It's Robertson on the keep. Down low this goes. Glove down by Nurse, who gets tied up. At the far side, can't get it out. It's Duchesne bringing this back in. Matt Duchesne to the far side. 7 more stick taps at it and all the way out. This goes for Edmonton. 10:20 left to go here. 2-1 the Stars lead. Take it back to you, John.
So Edmonton's got it in behind their own net. It's a 2-1 lead now because Mason Marchand with the deflection from Ryan Suter. So taking the rest of the way, unless we go back to OT, then we'll switch it back off again. Here's a rush. This game's been played pretty even for the most part. We'll see if that go-ahead goal is enough to be the GWG. Sagan, he'll spin. As it goes left side red line, get back to Sagan, but this is stick to front of the slot. 3 Oilers were there. Hyman will watch this one get sent down deep for Jake Ottinger. Will make the slow pass left side red line. And Dallas with the victory green will try to get this out. They're trying to even this Western Conference final game 2 at a game apiece. This will be sent back now for Darnell Nurse. The shot board is 25-19 as this is picked up. Nice skate through. Off the drop, McDavid was the one that set it up. This is loose. McDavid gets a hit off the side of the net. Dallas will try to flip this one back down. Evan Bouchard will watch as this one goes all the way back. Ekholm have to use his body as this is pinned against the glass. Bouchard watching out in front of the net as Dallas has it near the right side boards. And now Bouchard will get a puck retrieval. 9 minutes left to go in the third. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava and Ian Genji. This is game 2. Try to see if this series is going to be even out. That's what we are expecting. But Edmonton's played pretty good in these first couple games so far. This is a steal. This is an opportunity. And this is blocked off the left side pad. That was Mason Marchment who already scored. Sent back around the end boards now. Opportunity for Dallas one more time to pick this up. The fans would have exploded at American Airlines. Would have got another goal. It's chipped out in front, but Edmonton's there to clean it up, try to take it left to right. And the road whites with the blue tops and the orange and blue striping. Sent back around for Jake Ottinger. He'll look to start this again. This will go all the way down, and it'll be a race for the puck. Icing is waved off. Cody Ceci now off the pin. And a double hit as Edmonton tries to get it the other way. It's a 2-on-3. A little bit of a late tripping off the puck. There's this back for Tanev. He'll be able to get the puck out before taking a hit. It's a race the other way. A 1-on-1. Wyatt Johnson and Ceci slow up off the back skate. The Oilers will try to take this now. 3-on-2. Evander Kane try to get a stick ahead for Holloway, but Dallas is there to clean it up. Opportunity now to Shane. He'll rush in with Robo. Robo's still not on the score sheet. It's been a while. At least for goals. It's picked up now for Harley off the end boards. Edmonton will knock it away. Try to take this one left to right for the rest of the period, but Dallas will find it in their own zone. Outstretched pass from 50. Could be a 2-on-3 to Shane. The rebound bounced off his left skate. This is Derek Ryan able to get it the other way for Carrick. Opportunity. Sam Carrick will get this drop pass, and this will go to nobody. Race for the puck now. Matt Duchene almost on the edge of his shift. He tried to pry it loose. Spin and turn. Darnell Nurse has it in his own end for Chris Knobloch's squad. Outstretched pass. It falls right to Jake Ottinger away from Essa Lindell. Nero Heiskanen able to get it up. There's a chip off a 2-on-2. A dump and chase gets taken away by the Oilers, and they'll start it again in their own end. Shot board still 26-21. The go-ahead is from Mason Marchment off a Ryan Suter deflection. Opportunity now, McDavid, number 97, dancing with the puck. We'll get this back to D. Here's a wrister. This one gets blocked. It goes up into the netting. 6:33 left to go in the final frame.
So finally we get a stoppage here and a chance to look at the Pacers and Celtics right now. Indy leads 90-81. Andrew Nembhard with 23. He had 21 the first half, but 16 points for TJ McConnell off the bench. The Pacers shooting 30 of 74, good 54.3%. Starting to slow down on the shot output. The Celtics, a 24-21 run. So slow step in the right direction for Boston if they were to come back and win this, but it's still a long road up ahead, led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The question is, how are they faring in the fourth quarter? Because the fourth quarter has arguably been the biggest enemy for the Celtics on the season.
Yes, it has in Indiana. They still have a 9-point lead right now as we get set to start the fourth, despite shooting just 3 of 17 from distance.
That is something that's not what you want to see from three-point shooting range. I feel the Pacers, they're getting forced into those situations, and since they don't have Tyrese Halliburton, that's taking a hit. They want to go more to the inside. That's where they thrive at. You have guys like Siakam, Turner, Nembhard, and McConnell doing that.
Yeah, and like you said, sometimes you don't have your point guard like that leads the offense and the pace of play. You're going to be forced into tougher shots. Pacers really need this one. You can't go down 3-0 because it'll be done at this point. But as you mentioned, Celtics been able to fight through. It's only a 9-point game as into fourth. They could close it, and we'll see what happens if we need OT. We might still need an OT in our game as well. So, basketball game up for grabs. This hockey game up for grabs tonight.
Hey, fellas, if I may, I'd like to offer sincere condolences to Stan Van Gundy and the entire Van Gundy family, as it was revealed 3 hours ago that Stan Van Gundy's wife died by suicide.
Oh, man, that is awful news.
Yeah, they'd been married for 35 years, been together for 40, and in his words, I don't think I'll ever get over it. And
no, you never get over anything like that. Again, we talked about some of that stuff throughout. I mean, you had Lincoln Park, Chester Bennington. There's a bunch of different things like that. So it's never the answer. You never know what anybody's going through. But again, I'm glad you brought that up because severe condolences on that side. I could never believe that if you just told me that again. I thought that would have been a lie. I can't believe that's a real.
Yeah, I didn't think it was real when I heard about the news of Chester Bennington. Man, to hear that is disheartening. My condolences to the Van Gundy family and Stan Van Gundy, all the family. If you need help, don't be afraid to call for help.
That's the main thing that I always say in those situations. Don't suffer alone, because then things like this unfortunately happen. Obviously, no easy transition. We do have our game underway here with 5:55, although I am glad that Ian brought up that story because I'm glad we got to talk about that because it's always rough in that situation. Evan Bouchard will send this one across now for Hyman off the spin. Nice move. Zach Hyman trying to get a shot off. This one blocked by the Dallas defense. Try to be on their P's and Q's here for 5:35 left. There's Stankovic off the one-on-one. It takes the chance off the rush. Skinner makes the save. Bouchard throws it into an open area. And this will be flipped back down and across the red line. Dallas now will find it again. When does Edmonton pull their goalie, Alec, and when will they have an answer here? I still think this game's up for grabs, but we'll see if Edmonton can consistently push this the other way. Dallas has finally shown up pressure, and as this game has gone along, just like in Game 1, they're starting to get closer on the shot board. This time it's 25-22, with Dallas up 2-1. It's McDavid for RNH now. RNH get dispossessed of the puck. Evander Kane trying to find it near the right side boards, as this is recollected off the backhand. This will be Cody Ceci gets knocked away from him. This is flipped up. Sam Steele will just circumvent this off the bounce toward Skinner. 4:35 left to go in the third. John Ott alongside Alec Nobany and Genji. It's Game 2 at American Airlines Center. Dallas trying to even this up at a game apiece. There is a wrist attempt. This one blocked again. Dallas's defense has been excellent the last few minutes. This is now on the left side red line. Try to chip and find an entry now. There was nowhere else to go. Vincent Desharnais, big hit from Sagan. This puck is loose, but Desharnais got that long outreach. He looks like a dump truck. As this one's picked up by Sagan. Wrister, another save. Sagan's had so many chances. I've said that so many times now, like through the broadcast, but he's always in the scoring chances, whether or not he actually does get one.
Yeah, he had 2 goals. Yes, 2 goals in the last game, and he's been snake bitten all throughout this game. You wonder how he's gonna go through in these last 4:05. He were to get a crucial goal for the Stars. Even if the Oilers tie this up, you think Tyler Seguin is always thinking shoot.
Yeah. That's where my money would be as well. And we're continuing to monitor the other side for the Pacers and the Celtics. That's a 7-point game with 10:23 left to go in the fourth. I think this game is going to end before the basketball game, so I can hang with you gentlemen if you want to for the conclusion of that one. I'm just going to continue to monitor that alongside both of you guys. I appreciate you in the booth here. It is 25-23 on the shot board for Edmonton. Hits now 30-19, so Dallas has a big edge there. And they've come all the way back on the face-off side, 24-22. But of note in this game, too, right now, both teams just 0 for 1 on the power play. The majority of this game has been 5-on-5.
Yeah, both teams are very disciplined with one another. They're not going to force each other to take any penalties. That's how disciplined hockey works, and I love that from both sides. I want to get to the IIHF World Championships as well because Owen brought it up the other day. Well, we have another shocker. If you think USA getting ousted by Czechia was shocking enough, Switzerland ousted Canada in the championship semifinals to set up a final of Czechia and Switzerland.
That is a big shock to me, Alec. Wow.
I do remember about Nino Niederreiter and Kevin Fiala. They power through for Switzerland. Don't forget about some other big name Swiss players in the NHL, like Timo Meier. He's part of that team as well.
That's good, and I'm glad that he's using that IHF time because I think Timo Meier is still battling through some injuries and wants to make sure to get all his feet and everything else underneath him, just like Tomas Hertl for Vegas.
Yeah, to get back into form for the New Jersey Devils next season.
Absolutely. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what you use that time for. 4:05 left to go here in this third. As this one is a face-off tie-up. Dallas may emerge with it. They will get a shot off the right side pad of Skinner. 3:55 left to go in this final frame. Here's an opportunity now for Draisaitl. Off the backup, it's Bouchard. Slows up, shoots now, and this one is blocked. Connor McDavid picks it up. Connor McDavid's going to get it back from Leon. McDavid around the outside, still trying to find setup here for Ekholm. He shoots. This one will bounce in front of the bodies. It's a funnel toward the net. This puck is deflected out of play.
Yeah, I feel Bouchard wanted to go with the fancy footwork on that long shot. Heiskanen got in front of it. Crucial block. That might have went off his leg. He's dunked by it, but you have to do what it takes if you were to get your team winning crucial playoff games. Toe drag around Jason Robertson. Unloads one. Went off the skate of Heiskanen, which caused him to lose a bit of balance.
And again, this is the type of plays you're going to see right now. Sacrifice. Try to find a way to hold this lead. That's what it looks like unless Dallas puts one into an empty net. Should Edmonton get to that point. Block shots are 20-9 for the Stars. Face-off tie-up. And Edmonton will get this out in the second effort. Here's a slapper. Good save, Ottinger.
Whew. Perhaps it's most crucial of this game, knowing that Ekholm, he knew he had an open net to his far side. Tested the glove side of Ottinger. Ottinger was not fooled by it. He knew what Ekholm can bring with a clapper of a bomb.
The bottom right glove save and a beauty there. 3:25 left to go in this third. Shot board 27-24. Edmonton needs another one to get to OT. In game one, we saw Tyler Seguin score late to send us to OT. Can Edmonton return the favor and deliver Dallas some bitter medicine? We'll find out. Here's an opportunity now for Seguin. Little toe drag, try to buy some time. This pass deflected. See who they give it over to. As it's Draisaitl. Set it up back home. And this wrister, man, he's had a couple good shots here toward the end of this third. As Draisaitl now, extra pass. That was a bullet. As it's Bouchard now to the right side dot. Leon set it up for Bouchard. Speaking of Rockets, it's another one toward the net, and Ottinger sees it.
So we speak of this top pairing defensive core for the Oilers having the hardest shots on the team. Ekholm can bring it, but Bouchard can deal it as he fired a slapper. I don't know what the official marker of that slapper is for Bouchard. I imagine he can fire some at 90 miles an hour. This one from Ekholm might have went off the slim end of the stick of Ottinger.
I don't know if that went off the stick as well. It also maybe hit the top of the left post. As it's Evander Kane against Joe Pavelski. Pavelski really good in the circles here. We're not going to get as many points. You can still win critical draws, and that's what Joe Paul wants to do here. Kane wins it. It's loose again. This one blocked one more time by the Dallas defense. And now they might win a race for this puck. Matt Duchene really turning on the burners here. He absorbs a big hit as this is sent the other way now. Everybody's standing right now at American Airlines. An attempted wraparound for Duchene. It goes off the left pad of Stuart Skinner. 2:25 left to go in this third. As Lindell will fire. It'll stay in. Cody Ceci trying to get a glove on it. Here is Steele. This is in between escape blades, but Holloway has an answer for that. And Evander Kane will put it the other way. Here is Skinner. He's leaving the goal crease. This is what Dallas, see what they can do here. They have the puck. They could fire this length of the ice if they want to. And Ursula Lindell does such. 3-1 now.
Oh, just as they said, if you want to take your shot, you better not miss here. And Dallas, they're going to Edmonton with an even series from what it looks like, unless the Oilers can pull 2 straight. They stole game 1 here. Dallas right back on this is Lindell right off it. As I feel Chris Knobloch might have mistimed that goalie pull for Stuart Skinner. I feel he mistimed it as Evander Kane, he was taking onto a wall ride like he was riding a horse. I mean, what even was that? You pull Skinner, and then you allow that goal almost instantaneously afterwards. I feel it was bad timing from Knobloch.
Alec, I think honestly that's well called because as you said, by the time you pull that goalie, no chance to get that puck possession there. And that allows Dallas to essentially get a freebie before you even get full possession. Edmonton played a pretty good game too right now. Skinner's out again. Let's see if they're going to have to rush. This could inflate the scoreline to look a lot worse than it actually is, as we have a hand in the air, I thought. This one is picked up. So this will be a penalty against Dallas for a hook. It's 6-on-4 now.
Oh, Jamie Benn wants a piece of Evan Bouchard afterwards. 1:30 is left, but the Oilers are going to go 6-on-4. They need to score twice here. You cannot afford to, if I'm Dallas, you cannot afford to let up your guard. A penalty this late in the game could change anything, even if it means that this could go to an improbable overtime. And of course, Chris Knobloch is using his timeout, which is the right call.
Give me your thoughts here, Ian.
Well, okay. You have McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman. The Oilers only have 1 goal, which makes me think that not one of 3 of those, that none of those players have truly had an impact tonight, or too much of an impact, because again, it's 3-1. With all that firepower, you would think that maybe it's not too far-fetched to say they could come back and tie it. Except this is Dallas, who, by all accounts, has, at least from what I've seen, have been one of the best defensive teams in the playoffs. Yet no, this series is going back to Edmonton 1-1, and I am still confident that Dallas is going to win this series simply because they just look complete.
They do look complete. And again, it is a situation where they really needed to get game 2. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Edmonton has played as well as they have in the first couple games. I'll be interested to see how games 3 and games 4 go. Does Dallas really turn on the burners on the road? They're one of the best road teams. Here's McDavid. This one will float up into the air. But again, we'll have to see games 3 and games 4, especially game 3 and that turnaround, see who goes up 2-1. Dallas did what they had to do today. I don't think Edmonton really played a bad game. No,
I feel they played to the best of their abilities. I just turned on the Pacers game. What a shot by TJ McConnell. But the Oilers, they played I would say an A- game. I'm not saying A+. I'm going to say A-. You still played a good game. No doubt about that.
I'm going to flip that coverage up pretty quickly here now. Evander Kane is going to go ahead and sit in the box. That's not what you want right now for Edmonton. They were on the power play. I have to see what Evander Kane did. Honestly, I missed that in terms of our talking points. Joe Podolski's sharing some words, so I must have been involved with him. Evander Kane, we get a hook and hold. That's his play in his day. That was the same thing that Ben did to Draisaitl. So this could be done, essentially, at this point, and everybody's going to be able to go home happy here. Again, we have 6:40 left to go in the other game. It looks like Indiana has just made it a 7-point lead, but we will flip that one as soon as this one goes final. It does look like, as Ian mentioned, that this series will go 1-1. It's what Alec and I expected going into this, but we got a lot closer of a game than we thought we were going to have, and a pretty good series. A pretty good series on the other side, too, between Florida and New York, as this is an opportunity off the entry for McDavid. McDavid now off his backhand. This will be picked up 4-on-4. It's not going to carry over the whole entire way unless Edmonton pulls off a miracle. This is behind the cage for McDavid. Here is Bouchard. They're taking too much time here as this one is lifted. I don't know what they were trying to do. I wish McDavid would have just shot that one off the ramp. But here they go. This one off the right side blue line. As the towels continue to wave, it's going to be a bunch of happy fans. This one goes back and across the end boards in Dallas. Gentlemen, they get it done. It's 1-1 in the series now with a 3-1 victory at American Airlines.
Pretty much what we expected from Dallas on the bounce back. If they want to play a complete game, they want to show it as well. So the Stars, after a loss this postseason, 5-1. So they lost the first game after a loss. That was game 2 against Vegas. But ever since it's been all wins here, and a salute to Mason Marchment, who delivered the winning goal in the third period. Jake Ottinger has played a great game tonight, and Stuart Skinner, he also played a great game tonight. Even though the stats may not show it as such, he has played near perfect.
Yeah, that second period, especially when there was a lot of rush there, to be able to get that job done, Skinner kept his team in the game. I agree with you, Alec, in the sense that the empty net pull was a little bit too soon there for Knobloch. Not in terms of time, but you said right, Evander Kane really didn't ever have opportunity to get puck possession. It would have been interesting if that goal didn't happen there on the empty net from Eston Lindell, because you had Ben going to the box for a stick on Draisaitl. That could have changed this game and essentially tied it. I guess Dallas dodged a big bullet.
They did.
So one thing I've noticed about Dallas, it's this will be a weird comparison, but follow me, because I think if you guys watch soccer at all, you may understand this. The way Dallas plays sometimes is that they'll score one or two goals, and then they'll go and play an entirely defensive game the entire time, and then rush on the counterattack. You see this a lot in the World Cup with some of these European teams, where they'll score a goal and then go completely on defense. Now, hockey and soccer, those are two different sports, and if you were to just look at the stat sheet, you'd think, Edmonton scored one goal, but they had all these shots. So Onger saved them. Except, you see Dallas players blocking shots left and right. Dallas plays that similar defensive style where they'll go up 2 goals and then they'll just shut you down defensively. They don't have to get into a shootout or blow out another team because they're able to win close. That's another reason why I think they're going to beat Edmonton, because if Edmonton doesn't score, if Edmonton doesn't have at least a 3-goal game every game, I don't think they win.
I don't disagree with you, Ian, and your point is well taken. The only counter I can say to that, because you're not wrong, but the only counter I can throw out there was go back and look at the second period when you get an opportunity for that, because Jake Ottinger was absolutely under siege. Yes, your point's well taken in the third with all the block shots that Dallas was able to get and have that funnel when they had the lead in the bag. But Jake Ottinger kept them in it, so especially toward the beginning of it, because if he didn't, especially from that first, when it was, 16-3, Alec, on the shot board after one, that was pretty brutal.
It was. 16-3 on the shot board. It almost felt like deja vu to Oilers and Canucks Game 7. We almost got a throwback to that one. Except that this time, the team that was behind came out and pulled off the victory and made things interesting in the third period. And unlike that Game 7, it was Dallas who got the game's first goal.
So, no, those are well-taken points. We throw that out there, and I agree with you. Dallas and their defensive structure, they should be able to travel well. We talked about it between all of us that their road record is one of the best in the NBA. I still have confidence. I just wanted to see it, but I just will take the other side. This isn't devil's advocate. I will take the other side and say that I think Edmonton has played better than I even expected them to. We'll see if they can hold it.